Good afternoon, I guess good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Topeka. We are already actually 2 outs into this one. Kansas and Danny Kolditz making quick work of Nebraska here in the top of the first. I'm Trevor Butler, and I'm joined by a man who needs no introduction. If you were with us in the fall, you know him by the nickname the Iron Dome. It's Kansas baseball play-by-play man Tyler Bermundo.
Thank you, Trev. It's good to be here. And it's kind of fun watching these guys. Got a win yesterday, 4-3 victory against Nebraska, and looking to bounce back. And obviously, regionals are out of contention for this team, but it would be awesome to see them end the year on a high note. We got St. Louis next week, a very winnable series, and if we can get 5 wins on the board in the season, I think that would look so much better than being a 1 or 2 win team.
Yeah, this Kansas team really just looking to turn it around. It was just an unfortunate start to the year. You know, it's always tough having to start your year playing almost exclusively road games, which is the way that this schedule shook out. Is Kolditz fires that in for strike one.
And Danny Kolditz, a guy, very good changeup curveball. He's one of those guys that has 10 different pitches. As you see another one right there. Very quick inning there for Danny.
Going to work. So we'll quickly take a break. Danny Kolditz retires Nebraska 1-2-3 as we head to the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first, getting ready to get underway. Kansas looking to strike first. They've had a fairly prolific offense in the early going, a lot of games this season. They just can't parlay that into late success.
Yeah, and Jackson Pollock, the guy that's kind of started the rally, a guy that I kind of recruited while I was going from the transition to playing club baseball and then going to the actual KU baseball broadcast. But I work at DBAT Lawrence. These guys have practice there occasionally. And Jackson Pollock was this guy who was just hitting. He was mashing as he's going to pop that one up down left field. And there's one out. Sorry to take your play-by-play right there, Trev. But Jackson Pollock just didn't want me to tell a story about him because one pitch and one out for Jackson Pollock. But like I was saying, we were at DBAT Lawrence, and he was this big kid just taking hacks in the machine. And I was talking to my boss, and I asked him, I was like, hey, what's this guy doing here? He's going to KU, and he told me he's a sophomore that wants to go play baseball for the actual KU team. And I basically went up to him and said, hey, I'm going to be a good guy to know because I have ties to our baseball team, but I also played club, and I know they're going to need some players. We got a couple guys leaving. It was myself, Ryan Camacho, 2 other guys that aren't there now. And he took the shot as this one lined to left field. It's going to drop in front of left fielder Owen McGovern with a single. And again, I keep taking your play-by-play stuff because I'm trying to tell stories while being your color commentator, but Trevor, take it away.
Yeah, Owen McGovern, another guy who's really turned it on as of late. He had a spectacular fall, played very well in Louisiana, something I know you know about, playing well out in beautiful Sterlington, but he has really come back to life here in the last couple of series, played well last weekend against Missouri, and clearly following it up today with a one-out base knock.
He's also getting a promotion in the managerial department, as he's going to be the new co-president, along with Charlie Marshall, two guys from ZBT, two guys that have been with the program as long as I was, as they started their freshman years last year. Owen McGovern, also a guy that has all-region potential.
As that's popped up shallow out into center field, it's going to be a tough play against the cloudy sky, but it's corralled. And there's two down here in the bottom of the first. And yeah, like we've said, Kansas can start off hot, so Kyle Davis is going to be here trying to move the runner along from first, but we'll see if Kansas can inflict any more damage against this Nebraska pitching staff.
And they got Colditz on the mound, a guy who has just plus stuff, probably has the best stuff in that entire roster.
Pickoff attempt not in time. That's Kengo Tomita on the bump for Nebraska today, wearing the all whites. I gotta ask, what do you think of the white numbers on the white jersey?
It shows you the club baseball budget right there. But Kyle Davis, guy coming up to the plate, he was the president last year, overtook for Mike Ray, who was president in the fall but had to step down. So Kyle Davis, a little straight and right, running the team, and they took this team all the way to beautiful Kearney, Nebraska, Trevor.
Some Kearney chaos?
Some Kearney chaos. We just fell short in that Iowa State game. I have a great story about that, as we'll get into that next inning.
So that's left up high to Davis. And yeah, obviously the second to last series of the season for Kansas, a team that came into the year with some very high expectations, ranked in the NCBA preseason poll. Of course, they had an NCBA All-American who rudely departed the team.
Yeah, I don't like that guy either. Seems very big-headed.
Sure does.
He probably watches home run clip all the time, doesn't he?
The type of guy to take up a whole bed in Sterlington, Louisiana, as that's left up high, and it's going to be a 3-1 hitters count to Davis.
I heard that guy doesn't even play baseball anymore because he wanted to retire on a high note. I think is what I heard, and now he's just like talking over some baseball game or something.
Talk about an ego right there. Yeah. 3-1, swung through strike 2.
Kyle Davis, repping number 42. I would say that's in honor of Jackie Robinson. They look almost identical.
Davis, a guy who missed the fall in our very first few broadcasts out in Sterlington. He was active in the chat as he takes a walk, and there's 2 aboard with 2 down.
And he had an injury. We saw him with the scooter and tryouts. Pretty painful stuff. We're glad to see him back here. Also, he's got less to worry about now. Instead of just being the president, he gets to just focus on playing baseball. And Kyle Davis, a great guy. Not a great golfer, but a great guy himself. And now we got Sean Boudin. He was a former JUCO product.
Really?
He was. I believe the COVID year kind of stopped things and he never took it back up. But we saw him at tryouts. Big sidearm righty.
So he's going to loop that one foul out of play just past the Nebraska bullpen. And Boudin right now is, I believe he's dealing with some sort of arm injury, a rotator cuff, I believe it is. He was actually behind the plate last weekend, and he just couldn't throw down to second. I believe he had some sort of ailment going on with that right rotator cuff.
And with that arm slot, kind of a low submarine slot, if you're not practicing that enough, you could deal with some issues.
So that's left right there for him, but it's corralled and the throw is in time. So Kansas gets 2 aboard but strands them. We head to the second, still no score. Top of the second on tap here in Topeka. A gloomy, cloudy day here at Bettis Family Sports Complex. Definitely not as windy as it was last week, so it's a little more pleasant to be sitting out here. It's not raining like it was last Sunday when I had to shield all my equipment from the water. But just cloudy and not necessarily dark, though.
No, it's just that gloomy Topeka weather. We've seen it before. We saw it all the way back in the fall season, late in the year. We had the camera issues and stuff like that. Couldn't adjust. Couldn't figure out how to put the setting on auto as opposed to manual.
It's Colditz fires low for ball one. He slots that one in there for strike one. This is Matthew Humphrey at the plate here for Nebraska, looking to lead things off after a 1-2-3 top of the first for the Cornhuskers. 1-1 little high.
And on Tuesday, I was actually at Haymarket Park watching Kansas play Nebraska, although the Kansas roster and Nebraska look completely different.
Look a little different.
As instead of starting Kyle Davis, they started Brady Ballinger at first, a name some of you might know on the. I think it's like the AAA team for Kansas, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. They play at Hoagland. They make the D1 team go play in Topeka at Bettis Sports Complex.
That's popped up on the infield. Should be a fairly easy play over there at second. And Grant O'Doherty is going to rein it in.
Well,
that's Owen McGovern.
That's Owen McGovern. It's all right. But yeah, no, we watched Kansas baseball win 4-0 against the Cornhuskers. It was a very well pitched game. Their bullpen for the D1 team has been fantastic, been very fun to call. And really the home run production is down, but it went down at the right time because now their pitching staff really picking up that offense.
That's chopped foul for strike one. Yeah, the lineup I've got in front of me shows O'Doherty over at second, but it looks like McGovern is over there right now. So
they could be running that Kansas defense where they switch,
yeah,
depending on the handedness of the batter, although I don't know if we're educated enough and have the charts for that.
I don't know how I didn't think of recruiting any of those guys. Get Brady Ballinger at first for the Kansas club team.
I actually think he tried out and didn't make it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It would make a lot of sense.
There's a high standard here for Kansas club baseball.
Of course.
You can't enter the season ranked 16th in the NCBA preseason polls.
Here's a great story. So I was talking to Cannon Carr, the Sunday guy. He's probably going to pitch now in the next 3 hours for KU baseball. And he was in class, and some guy went up to Cannon Carr and he says, "Hey, aren't you on the baseball team?"
As that is a tough play over at short, throws not in time. And Nebraska works their first base runner of the day. Yeah, that's O'Doherty over at short. So O'Doherty and McGovern on the infield swapped, and he just couldn't make the throw. A very tough play, and there's one aboard.
And as I was saying, I was talking to Cannon Carr, and he was in class, and some guy went up to him. He's like, "Hey, you're on the Kansas baseball team, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I am." And he goes, "Aren't you guys ranked number 3?" And then Cannon Carr was like confused, and he goes, "I think that's actually our club baseball team." And then I had a funny story. It's like, "Oh yeah, Cannon, I was on the club baseball team before coming and take the job with KU baseball." And it was a fun story. The fact that they all thought they were ranked number 3, and well, I'll tell you what, they're a team that's they're not quite in the top 25 right now. I assume they will be after this week, unless Utah really takes it to them. But I thought it was really funny how people know about Kansas club baseball. I guess
Kansas club baseball is an institution. That is true.
That is correct. A team that had their most successful season in history, their first regional berth last year. We had a couple of accolades as Max Rosencrans, all-region third-team pitcher, Todd Raimundo, all-region third-team pitcher. He was first-team all-region as an outfielder and was the first Kansas club baseball All-American.
I've heard that name before a few times.
I'm Todd Raimundo, joined alongside by Trevor Butler here on not on the Equity Bank Jayhawk Sports Network, on the Kansas Jayhawks.
KU Club Baseball YouTube channel, presented by nothing because nobody wants to sponsor us. Runner goes a little inside, and Ray's going to have to charge it back to the wall, but the runner holds it second.
So Kansas playing Nebraska for the second time in as many years. However, last year's series, Trevor, you know about the Kansas-Nebraska series last year?
I do not.
So we originally were supposed to play in Nebraska, and then they got a snowstorm. And I remember because Max Rosencrans on the mound, I think it was the 4th inning, where he literally started pitching in a blizzard. The score was 9-0 Nebraska, but we stopped the game, so it never counted. And then they were supposed to actually come back to Bettis Sports Complex.
Popped up hooking foul, and it'll go out of play.
but we were supposed to play Nebraska in Nebraska. They actually had to come back here to make up the series. And we were all prepared. We were all ready to go. And then about an hour before game time, they told us they didn't want to come. So we actually had the weekend off, got a automatic sweep of Nebraska. There was a chance they were actually going to be on probation because they missed the series, but Nebraska, back in the thick of things here. They're a team that has been so good in the Mid-America South Conference.
So that's outside, ball 4, and Colditz issues a 1-out walk, so it's going to be 2 aboard with only 1 down here in the top of the second. Nebraska looking to strike first.
But yeah, this Nebraska team, I was here for a year and a half with the club baseball team, never got to face Nebraska, so this is my first look at them. I saw Cincinnati, I saw Missouri S&T, Creighton, Mizzou, saw them all, but Nebraska, never saw it. I don't know if their guy, they had a guy, Camden Gadboys, he was their ace, a guy who threw in the high 80s in club baseball.
So it's going to run inside. Both runners are going to be on the move, and they'll both move up 90 feet on the first pitch ball. So it's going to be 2 men aboard with only 1 away, and I'd say this Nebraska offense could push a couple runners around, but I was at the Royals game last night, and they're playing the Astros, who are, of course, my favorite team, and it seems like the Astros got second and third, probably 6 of the 9 innings, and somehow managed to not score a single run.
That's what happens when you don't know the signs, Trevor.
Pretty atrocious showing from that Astros offense. I was not very happy in my seat at Kauffman, as that's up high for ball 2, and Mike Ray will take a walk out and have a chat with Danny Kolditz.
And someone told me the AL West is now the new NL Central this year because the Angels are in last place, which is not a shock to anyone, by the way.
No, that's expected.
But I believe the Angels are 12-14 and they're in last place in the AL West. Like they were in first a couple weeks ago, but they've scuffled a bit, and teams in the AL West just keep on winning.
Yeah. Seems like they all go on win streaks at the same time, then they all start losing at the same time. That's fouled back, and Kolditz will get one back here in the count. It's 2-1.
And Danny Kolditz, a guy, very good changeup. He really gets good pronation. Fastball has a lot of run to it. Also has a cutter, a slurve, a curveball, a knuckle curve. I don't have the notes with me, but that's all I remember off the top of my head. He also has a splitter, I believe. I think he has a new pitch every week.
Pushed over to the right side. It's going to bounce off Davis. Throw is in time, and they're going to call him safe. It was a close play. It looks like Kolditz might have been there, but everybody's safe, and Nebraska is going to get on the board first here in the second inning. It's 1-0.
And unfortunately, the ESPN Plus broadcast was not able to come out, as I would love to see a replay review of that there. As from the naked eye, I thought he was out. Maybe President Shaton Wright going to go talk to the home plate umpire about that one.
Have a chat. And yeah, it did look like Kolditz beat him by about a step. Kind of a bang-bang play, obviously tough down here. We've seen some interesting umpires down here at the NCBA level. I don't know if you were tuned in for the Creighton series, but we had a kid umpire for one of those games. Like a 10-year-old kid.
No way.
There was a 10-year-old kid doing the game. It was kind of awesome. Then there was a bang-bang play, and he ruled in favor of Kansas, as the call is going to stand safe first. Ruled a bang-bang play in favor of Kansas, and I asked Mason, I'm like, if you're playing for Creighton right now, do you go out and do you argue with the 10-year-old kid umpire?
I think you could put him in timeout if you wanted to.
You could probably pick him up and throw him over your shoulder.
You could just call his parents and say, you got to walk home because you can't drive yet.
But Creighton abided. I believe they were up about 12-5 at that point, so no reason to argue. Kolditz goes back to work and fires in a first pitch strike.
And Kolditz, the guy with the greatest work ethic on this Kansas roster. I believe he throws about 5 times a week, if not more. Always the guy asking who wants to play catch. And he also had a stint the year before I got there where he went 4 for 5 at the plate, where they kind of used him, and he ended up hitting the ball pretty well.
Crack down the left side. Tough play, Aiden Day. He comes up firing, but he can't make the throw. Another run will score. And it's 2-0 Cornhuskers here in the top of the second.
Aiden Day going his back, and he almost got shielded by the runner coming down to third base, and that loss of vision was kind of the difference between him making the play and going off the glove. But Kansas down 2-0. Again, their offense very good, so 2-0, not a deficit that's insurmountable by any means.
The one thing you have to be worried about if you're Kansas, the thing that has seemed to plague them for much of this year has been allowing that big inning. They'll allow an inning like this to snowball and find themselves down, 4, 5, 6 runs. And for as good as the offense is, it's tough to mount a rally from that because it can kind of suck the energy out of your team. That's called low for strike number 1.
Kansas, they got Kyle Davis at first, Owen McGovern at second. You got Aiden Day at third, Grant O'Doherty at short, Jacob Bittner in left. You got formidable Jackson Pollock in center field, and right field Keelan Tunnel. And behind the plate, Mike Ray with Sean Boonen DHing for your Jayhawks.
That's left outside for ball 2. Ray comes up firing, but nobody moves up.
Mike Ray, pretty versatile. He can be a reliever, could be an outfielder, even plays the infield. You're super utility man, if you ask me.
He can do it all, and he's a big fan of watching TikTok before the games. You can usually find him on a sunny day as he throws down to third. It's not in time. Another close play at third, so 2 bang-bang plays here in the top of the 3rd inning. And in both cases, the umpires rule in favor of Nebraska.
That's a tough one. I thought that one was even more definitive than the one at first base.
Had him pretty cut and dry, but obviously no replay review. We don't have the money for that sort of technology, so what the umpire says go. 2-2 is going to be line foul.
That was a good play by Mike Ray. I mean, got up out of the crouch. If he threw that maybe a touch lower, it would have been more definitive, but a good throw nonetheless on the bag, and Aiden Day with a pretty good tag. I don't really know how that one goes the other way on that. Ball beat him there clearly.
2-2 lined up the middle, charging and making the play is O'Doherty. So they notch a second out, but another run scores. 3-0 Nebraska now with 2 down in the top of the second.
The weather, not amazing, as I remember we played Creighton last year. It was 70 and sunny.
Wow.
It's a great series. My family came out for that one. I almost hit a home run against Creighton.
That's pretty awesome.
As I was down the line, it went about 330, and it just went foul.
2 down. This one's popped and going foul. I can say that the Creighton series this year was sunny, but definitely not warm. Definitely very chilly. The second day of that series was a lot better. It was a lot warmer, but day 1, the wind chill had it feeling like it was about 30 degrees.
And for club baseball, every year you flip-flop between going to the opposing team and coming home. So last year we were home against S&T, we were home against Creighton. This year going out to Missouri S&T and going out to Omaha, Nebraska. So the Kansas Jayhawks were in Omaha this year, and hopefully they can come back again.
Sure hope so.
It's also crazy that the regional is going to be played here, but we won't see the Kansas Jayhawks in that, unfortunately.
Kansas not getting to play at their home ballpark.
Maybe they'll come out and watch the, I don't even know what to call it. It's not Carney Chaos, can't call it that. The Topeka Tension.
Topeka terrorism, something like that?
Whoa, I don't know about that one.
Why not?
Oh my, Topeka totality right there.
0-2, popped, hooking foul, and it'll go out of play once again.
It's kind of funny now watching actual KU baseball, being a part of that, and having your student managers go out getting the foul balls, and there's also 20 other baseballs you can go to, and now coming to club baseball, everyone's running for them, and the balls are much more used.
And speaking of student managers, I was watching a video posted on the Kansas Baseball Instagram account the other day, as that's down low for ball 1.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about, Trevor.
You know exactly where this is going to go. They were asking the players, who's the most famous person in your contacts? I forgot who it was, but somebody said, oh yeah, I got Michael Finnegan.
Someone said Michael Finnegan. I thought the other Michael that was cool was Michael B. Jordan
That
from
was pretty funny.
Eric Lynn, so I actually got to confirm that one.
Lined up the middle, and a 4th run will score. Colditz had to duck out of the way, so a 2-out base knock, some defensive hitting from Nebraska. And it's 4-0 Cornhuskers here in the top of the second, looking to exact some revenge for allowing Kansas to pick up win number 1 on the season just yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll, even if this doesn't go our way, we'll bounce back in St. Louis. That's a team that is usually underprepared. They don't travel well. I mean, last year they forfeited games when they were in their home ballpark against us.
Wow.
We actually played a scrimmage against them where they had 8 players. They took Aiden Day from us, and they automatically gave us the 2 wins. In that game, I was actually a little annoyed. I went 1 for 1 with 4 walks, but none of the stats counted because they forfeited. I would have liked that for the numbers, but it's okay as we got Danny Kolditz back on the mound. I would not be surprised, Trevor, and this is foreshadowing, but I'd not be surprised if St. Louis does not make it to the series next week.
Really?
Would not shock me. Last year they missed for the NIT Women's Championship. That was for the Billikens, or whatever they're called out there.
Billikens. Yeah.
Billikens. So they missed club baseball because of an NIT tournament for women's. So they didn't have enough players. It was funny too. That team, they're not the best, obviously. I think they have one win in conference play in the last couple of years, maybe two. And their first game, they had a guy who shut us down. I think went 6 innings strong. And then the next game, it was just a bloodbath.
Left down low, Ray just doesn't attempt to throw with 2 down.
Biggest addition for Kansas, those powder blue uniforms as well as the Warhawk logo. Pretty nice look. Something a D1 team could adopt. They used to have the powder blues a couple years ago.
As that's called for strike 3, Nebraska pours it on a little bit here in the second. The Cornhuskers jump out to a 4-0 lead. We'll see if Kansas can get back into this one in the bottom part of the frame. Bring it back. Bottom of the second, Kansas looking to rally out of a 4-0 hole. It's going to be Jacob Bittner leading things off. First pitch he sees is called for strike 1 on the outside corner.
And Jacob Bittner last year in the first series had a Linsanity run against Mizzou. Last year Mizzou, they finished middle of the pack. They were all 2 of our losses last year in conference play. As for some reason they came out swinging. They won the first 2 games, and I'm thinking to myself, man, what are these guys doing? Like, why can't our pitchers figure that out? First pitch lefty cutter on the inside part of the plate, and they took me off the wall. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. That was also the day where I burnt my eyes, if you remember that story.
Talked about that last weekend. As Bittner goes fishing on the 1-2, throws in time, and there's 1 down here in the bottom of the second.
That'll bring up newly hired D-bat instructor Keelan Tunnel. As with me leaving for the summer and he'll be in Overland Park, they need another person, so Keelan Tunnel, going to take all my clients, but I'll hopefully take them back.
Where are you going this summer?
I'm going back home to coach the Hebrew Nationals in a Jewish travel ball team. It also depends on how KU baseball does. There's a chance I could be headed to Omaha or anywhere else for the regional. Should be pretty fun. My hope is to be away from home as long as possible, just so KU baseball can keep making that run, and then I can go see my family again, which would be really great.
Right. Consider taking a road trip up to the Pacific Northwest.
I could. I do have a buddy at UW.
Lined up the middle. Great play. And there's 2 down as it hung up there. Just enough time for Keelan Tunnel to get robbed of a base hit.
Now we got Mike Ray now. I remember he had a pretty good fall last year. There's a game where he went 4 for 4. He also was the club president. He was the president the year before I got there, and I remember emailing him saying that I was a JUCO guy, and then realized I took it way too seriously.
mean, I remember the first couple meetings I came to with this team, chatting with them, and being all nervous, thinking I had to be all professional. And obviously, I'm here trying to do a good job, but it's a lot more relaxed compared to working on the Equity Bank Sports Network, of course.
From Learfield.
From Learfield.
And now with KLWN. So I have to say, every inning, you'll hear me, I'll go from the Equity Bank Jayhawk Sports Network, from Learfield, and KLWN. Depend on it. It's crazy.
2-1 is low, and with 2 outs, Mike Ray looking to work his way aboard here and allow Aiden Day to take some hacks. Day wearing the Kansas Rock Chalk towel in his back pocket. He allowed me to use that to wipe down the table that we used here last week because the rain blew in and soaked it all up. And he will get an opportunity to hit here in the bottom of the second with the Jayhawks trailing 4-0.
And Aiden Day, he's a very interesting player. He'll sometimes burst and come out of nowhere. We played St. Louis last year. He had a double his first at bat when he played against his own team because they were down a player, so they traded Aiden Day. He also, when we were getting crushed last year in PCB, we had Aiden Day come in against the Fire and then threw a shutout inning against Iowa State. That's great. Oh, I remember the story I was going to say. It was in the regional last year. So we played against Colorado State, Chase Brickley. I mean, he was arguably one of the best pitchers in NCBA history. And he played against us. He struck us out 19 times, and we went on to lose that game. And then we played Colorado and beat them. We were actually trying to lose that game, and then we ended up winning because we wanted to go home. But we actually ended up messing around and winning, and then we were going to play Colorado State again because they lost to Iowa State. And we were like, all right, well, we're going to lose this game. And we went down 7-0 in the first 2 innings, and we were like, well, we can't lose that bad. So we ended up coming back. I was used as a reliever in the 3rd inning, and I threw 4 scoreless. And we ended up coming all the way back and winning that game. And then we were like, well, now we got to try to win it all. So we played against Iowa State. And the starter against Iowa State, it was me after throwing 4 1/3 innings already.
As Day jumps on that one, pushes it out to left field. But it'll be caught 2nd inning in a row where Kansas strands one. We go to the 3rd. Nebraska still leading 4-0. Welcome back to the top of the 3rd. Danny Kolditz back to work with the Jayhawks in a 4-0 hole as he leaves that outside for ball 1. And I just got the news from Tyler that the lav mics that we used could have been upgraded for this week, but he forgot.
I wasn't forgot. I just never got a request from my boss, Trevor Butler, who also showed up 10 minutes late to my apartment today, which is why we couldn't get to the first 2 outs this ball game.
In my defense, I had to go pick up the 2nd mic because my other broadcaster forgot to give it to me yesterday.
Well, I think Mason now is gonna put in his 2 weeks because after next week, I don't think he's going to be calling another club baseball game for a little bit, maybe until next fall.
As Mason, I would say that's club baseball for you. You know, you go with the flow. As Colditz picks one back up, it's 2-1.
But I do have my entire radio equipment in my car for the actual Kansas Club baseball broadcast with the Comrec system. I can get you a field mic. I can get you 2 headsets. I can throw the commercials off of my, although I think that would actually get me in a lot of trouble if I played the actual Kansas baseball commercials over for the 3 people or 5 people that are watching. Wow, really tuned in today. Really exciting.
Quite an audience. You don't think 23rd Street Brewery would want to sponsor Kansas Club baseball?
I would love to see the Butler Burger, the Jackson Jambalaya. The Aiden artichoke dip. I don't know. We can keep going, right?
Yeah, let's get something going.
The oh my God, the Danny, the Colditz curds.
Taken outside, ball 1.
My God, the O'Doherty. We got the O'Doherty donuts, of course. The O'Donuts.
O'Donuts. Back pick to first, not in time. Called for strike 1.
How about the Iron Dome whiskey? You feel it'd be whiskey. You have some Kahlua and cream, as well as vitamins for protection, as nothing gets down.
Hit out toward left and caught. Nice play from Jacob Bittner out in left field. There's one down.
Did a good job, good drop step from Jacob Bittner as he maybe about 5 feet short of the track out there. It's an interesting field at Bettis as you got an all-turf infield. The outfield is grass, but then the warning track goes back to turf. So even though you can't really feel the dirt when you're going out, you're going to go from grass to turf, which will give you enough indication where you are.
Yeah. So that's going to run inside. Colditz buzzing the tower a little bit. It's a great play from Mike Ray to hang on to that one and hold the runner over at first.
Actually watching Kansas baseball yesterday, and I'm not with the team for some budget cuts. There was a couple series I couldn't go on, but you'll find me on the Jack Sports Network. But there was a play just like that where Derek Serta got a foul ball.
As this one's going to be back out to Jacob Bittner. This time he'll go to the wall, and he can't make the play. Great recovery there to haul it in on a bounce. But it'll be a stand-up double here with one down. It was a tough play. It looked like it had a lot more carry off the bat than I expected. I thought it was going to settle down just right in left field, but Bittner got taken all the way to the wall with that one.
Now the wind is kind of pushing out there toward left field. You can totally see it in the last 2 plays. The first one, actually, I think was more impressed with that because that looked like a lazy fly ball. That one obviously was hit much better, but the fact that it nearly got out of here. We've only seen one home run we haven't seen a home run at Bettis Sports Complex the 2 years I've been here.
Hit over towards second, a run will score, but there's 2 down.
And that's O'Doherty, so they maybe are doing a little Kansas shift.
Yeah, I would think so.
O'Doherty and Owen McGovern switching.
Hard to keep track of all this sometimes. We don't have stat broadcast in front of us to show that people are flipping around.
And maybe we'll try to get an intern next year if any of you are listening and want a potential job opportunity. We got Trevor Butler on the call and maybe a cameraman. We can also go for a stats guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind upgrading the broadcast a little bit.
I think also if we have more than 2 wins, I don't know if we're going to get the budget for that. Now the question people were asking me is the Iron Dome going to return for the fall? And I'm making the statement right now. No, that will not be. It just didn't seem right to join the team and then leave when it actually mattered for actual KU baseball.
Over to a day at third. Fires on to first. Nebraska adds a run, but nothing more. We go to the bottom of the third. Kansas going to need to respond here, down 5-0.
let me know. You got a place to stay. You can sleep in my bed.
I don't know if you heard that. Welcome back to the Kansas Club Baseball YouTube channel. 5-0 Nebraska as Jackson Pollock goes to work, the leadoff man for the Jayhawks. Tyler offered me to come visit him in Long Beach, California, which I would love to do as a IndyCar guy. Don't know if I want to share a bed with him, though, after the...
You got to rephrase it. You're not sharing a bed. You're getting a sliver of it.
You don't know this story. We traveled to beautiful Sterlington, Louisiana, as Pollock slaps that one up the middle for a leadoff single. Jackson Pollock has done a great job this year in that leadoff spot, really just mashing the baseball throughout much of this season.
I know. If we had him in the fall, we may have knocked off LSU.
That LSU game, a heartbreaker. Kansas up 9-3 after 3 innings. A 3-run jack from the Iron Dome to give the visitors from Lawrence a 9-3 lead, but LSU did a good job of kind of chipping back into that one as that's taken up high for ball one. And that game ultimately holding Kansas out of the playoff bracket for the Wood Wars tournament.
Second time in as many years where LSU had a 6-run comeback against the Jayhawks.
Pollock tucks and goes. Throw down is not in time. It's going to trickle into center field, but he'll hold up.
So I actually had a story for you guys. When we played St. Louis last year, I was the starter, I want to say, for Game 2 of that series. And what happened was, in St. Louis, I moved beds. I was going to sleep with in the house of one of my, calm down. So I was going to sleep in the house of one of my teammates, Tyler Durbin, who I don't think is here today. But they ended up having a house party till 1 a.m., so I decided to actually go to the hotel. I believe it was me, Shayton Wright, Kyle Davis, Mike Ray, and oh my God, who was the last guy? Nate Hansen, also known as Nate Neiswanger. And because there was already 4 people in the beds, the starting pitcher, which was me, I had to sleep on the floor in St. Louis.
Poked out toward right field. Could be trouble. That's going to sit down. Fair ball. Pollock will go to third, and they'll hold him there. So it's going to be runners on the corners. Owen McGovern moving things along for Kansas, and he just kind of dropped that one into no man's land. Beautiful ball placement right on the line.
As I was saying, we were in St. Louis, and it was the most sketchy hotel room you've ever seen. Grime on the walls, stuff didn't work. So not only was I sleeping on the floor, but right by my head was a barricade of the fridge, a couple chairs, because we were in the hood of St. Louis, so we didn't want anyone to break in. And that's how we got through the night, our first day in St. Louis. And then we played a doubleheader the following day.
The adventures of Kansas Club Baseball.
Had some great ones, of course. You obviously have the 17-hour car ride to PCB, Florida.
I'm partial to the 9-hour drive back to Lawrence from Sterlington. That we just kind of decided on a whim that we didn't want to be in Sterlington anymore.
That's correct, because we got eliminated from the playoffs. So I think we packed up at around 4 o'clock.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we got in about 1 a.m. It was me, the Shermanator, Trevor Butler, and Ryan Rubin.
I think Ruben didn't drive at all. Sherm put in about an hour, and then you and I went the rest of the way.
Oh my God, no! I remember that. We went to Canes in Arkansas, Little Rock.
Arkansas. We saw the car crash.
Yes, and then Ian Sherman takes over the driving duties, and within the first 3 minutes, we see a T-bone collision at the intersection. And Ian Sherman didn't really drive much after that. I also remember Trevor Butler's getting tired. I was taking a nap, and we were in the middle of Little Rock, Arkansas, and Lawrence, so we were just in no man's land.
No man's land in Missouri as that's taken inside ball 4, and the bases are loaded with nobody away for Kyle Davis.
And Trevor Butler just woke me up. He goes, "I'm tired," and pulls over to the side of a road in an off-ramp. And I ran back into the car. I think it was raining too, and we ended up going all the way back in the middle of a thunderstorm. It was something. As Levi's feet getting warmed up for KU, the sidearm guy, he had pulled up the tryouts with a white Perfect Game hat. Here's a fun fact about me, right? I looked at Perfect Game, and I looked up my Perfect Game rating, all that stuff like that. And I found out I was the 44th ranked left-handed pitcher of my class in California.
Not too bad.
Trevor, I did not throw a single inning for my team my senior year. I was an outfielder, but they listed me as a pitcher, and because I had a pretty good year in the outfield, my ranking as a left-handed pitcher was pretty high. And there are some guys like Porter Connor on the actual KU team that weren't even ranked as a left-handed pitcher. So, and it turned out pretty well for club baseball.
I'd say so.
Had a stint in junior college, and then came out here.
Kyle Davis going to work quickly ahead 2-0, and with nowhere to put him, he'll look to get aboard by any means necessary.
Kyle Davis, he was all-region first team a couple years ago for the Jayhawks.
Outside 3-0, and Davis just looking for a walk, looking to help Kansas kind of chip their way back into this one.
Kyle Davis was a junior college guy too before coming to Kansas. He was a shortstop.
3-0, taking the whole way, didn't even bother to take the bat off his shoulder, and it's going to be a hitter's count, 3-1.
That is the classic club ball 3-0 take right there, where you don't even flinch.
3-1 leaves it up high. Ball 4 and a run will score here. So still with nobody out, Kansas finally getting on the board as Jackson Pollock takes a trip home.
Now we'll see what Boudin can do here, as all of a sudden backs against the wall for Nebraska, 5-1 ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. Still nobody out, and Boudin, a guy, he has a lot of power, just hasn't really found one. He's got to catch one out front, and those outfielders might go for a run.
First pitch stays up high, and looking over towards the Nebraska bullpen, there's a couple people walking around, but nobody up and throwing just yet.
Pitcher, he was dominant the first couple innings, but all of a sudden now, falling behind guys, that's not what you want to do.
Made quick work early as that's popped up back towards us. Luckily, we're protected by the roof. It'll skip out behind the field.
Press box, not quite as nice as the one at Hoagland, but it's almost there.
Yeah.
Maybe need some upgrades of paint.
As that's going to be flared out towards short and caught. Everybody staying put, and Nebraska finally picking up their first out of the inning. A little more carry on that, it could have been trouble. Might have dropped into the shallow outfield, kind of in that no man's land area, but it's corralled. There's one down for Jacob Bittner.
And about a year ago, in a couple days, this is exactly the same field where Kansas won their conference for the first time in program history.
Big swing from Bittner. Can't connect for strike one.
We had a big crowd of that one, too. I think we had about 40 Kansas fans come out. I think we might have been more popular than the Kansas baseball team last year, although this year totally flipped.
Oh, yeah. Bittner sends one towards center. Got some carry on it. Runner's going to tag. They go to third with it. Throw in not in time, and another run will score. Jacob Bittner. A sacrifice fly, and it's 5-2 Nebraska here with 2 down.
And Kansas doing a good job chipping away. Just trying to shorten that lead up. Danny Kolditz, if he could settle down, give Kansas a good 5 innings. Almost signature Dom Bagley kind of start, where didn't have the best stuff to start, but doing a good job of letting the bullpen get some rest and then let them take you the rest of the way.
That's all you can ask for sometimes. As Tunnel kind of just poked at that one, tried to check his swing.
Emergency hack right there, as that was a slider. He's thinking it may have been the curveball and would have dropped more, but that one stayed above the zone.
Called on the corner, strike 2, and now Tunnel's going to have to defend a little bit here.
Keelan Tunnel, he was at Ottawa University for his first 2 years of his career. He was on the developmental team.
Called, strike 3. That'll get us out of the inning. Kansas gets a couple back, and as we head to the 4th, 5-2 Nebraska your score. top of the fourth inning here, and we're going to give the man to my left an opportunity to do some play-by-play. Tyler, you ever done play-by-play before?
I have not, Trevor. I'm actually a little bit nervous as Danny Kolditz comes set, kicks and fires, and there's a fastball on the outside part of the plate called a strike by the home plate umpire. Kansas not rocking a shift. Outfield a little bit shallower here as we're at Bettis Sports Complex. Gloomy day. You got the cars out there in right field. Trees blowing out there in left. Not too much wind as here's the pitch from Kolditz, a curveball that stayed high. And the count going to be 1-1 now to the right-hander for Nebraska. Kolditz is about 5'10", 200 pounds. He's got a good breaking ball, great changeup, also mixes in a fastball. Tops out at 84 from time to time. As here's the kick and fire from Kolditz. This one lined out to shallow left field. It's going to get down in front of Bittner. As there is a leadoff single here for Nebraska. And digging in their next batter. He's got the blue bat. The guy before him had the Rawlings icon, a composite bat. Big sweet spot out there. You got a righty and then a lefty on deck for the Cornhuskers. Digs in from the right side. Open stance slightly for number 23. Kolditz with that Pro 44 glove. He's got the white webbing with the red laces and grounded short. O'Doherty to McGovern onto first, and he just legs it out. So that's the first out of the inning, a 6-4 on the force out, fielder's choice. And that'll bring up the lefty for Nebraska, number 1. Aiden Day, third base, a guy who's been a hybrid. He can two-way a little bit. Saw him on the bump last game. Oh, I have a color guy? I'm sorry. How am I doing for my first time,
you're
Trevor?
doing wonderful.
Thank you, Trevor.
We might have you back at some point. Perhaps.
Maybe. We'll see. As Mike Ray sets up outside, and there's a step off from Kolditz. No disengagement rule here in club baseball. You talk about some of the different rules. There's no pitch clock here in club baseball. The games move faster. You don't have the double bases like they do in college baseball. As here's the first pitch, and block there from Mike Ray. Good changeup, but a good take there from number 1 from Nebraska. And now McGovern at second base. I think McGovern and O'Doherty just switching every inning.
Very well could be.
Keelan Tunnel playing medium depth out there. Center fielder Jackson Pollock shading a bit in. Bittner out there in left field. That one fouled off, and count going to be 1-1 here. This guy rocking the white cleats, the white helmet, the white jerseys, the white pants. So looking like, I was going to think of an analogy. I was thinking maybe like anyone who was born in the state of Tennessee. Is that one grounded foul? And Ryan Tackins, the ball boy today, is also a part-time reliever for the Jayhawks. In to get that one.
Tyler's play-by-play coming at a perfect time because I am watching my favorite soccer team win the championship on my phone right now. They're up 5-1 with 18 minutes left.
There goes the runner from first. This one grounded, a little run and hit there to McGovern. 3-hopper across the diamond. He makes the play. And there are 2 outs now here in the top of the fourth inning. Still 5-2 in favor of Nebraska. But nobody cares about soccer right now, Trevor. We're broadcasting club baseball. As Danny Kolditz on the mound. He's given up 5 runs. I believe only 3 earned, though, with an error. And Danny Kolditz, also known as the Diesel. So we got some great nicknames on this team. You got Danny the Diesel Kolditz. You had Tyler Mundo, also known as the Iron Dome. You got Owen McGovern, who's known as the McGovernor. Actually, next year's going to be great because you have the president and the co-president of Owen the McGovernor, as well as the Marshal, Charlie Marshall. Not getting the start today, resting his legs. Always see Charlie Marshall in the gym as he really puts in his work. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that one hit out to left field. Bittner going to his right, and it's going to get over his head. A little bit of banana route there for Jacob Bittner, as there's an RBI double there, as he's really walking over to second base, and that's going to make it 6-2. Nebraska. They put up 6 runs here. They put up 4 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. As now we got the left-hander coming to the plate for Nebraska. Levi Sweet was the guy warming up for Kansas. Took a seat now, but see what they want to do here with 2 outs in the fourth.
You got to assume with 2 down, they'll let Kolditz finish out this inning at least.
Danny Kolditz, a rubber arm, as we've seen him throw in numerous occasions back-to-back. We've seen him go over 100 pitches. Speaking of 100 pitches, do you know the story about Chase Brickley as well as, I want to say the guy in Iowa State's name. It'll come back to me, but do you hear about the story of that in the regional?
I do not.
Chase Brickley, we mentioned 19 strikeouts against Kansas Club Baseball, threw 139 pitches in our start against them, and we thought, oh wow, that's crazy. And then we had a guy at Iowa State, we're looking at the game changer, and he threw 171 pitches in the win against Colorado. So pitch count not really a thing, and then I believe I threw over 100 pitches in my 2 games combined between Colorado State and Iowa State.
Amazing.
Here's the 1-1, and this one through the 3-4 hole. Keelan Tunnel, see if he wants to throw him out. Here comes the relay. It's to Kyle Davis, and no play. Is that one in the dirt? An awkward slide there, but he'll tumble on into home plate, and that's going to make it 7-2. Nebraska there on the Seeing Eye single from number 26. I feel like I'm playing MLB The Show because I don't know the names of these guys. I don't really have all that in front of me.
Definitely some more rudimentary technology here at the club baseball level as Mr. President Shaton Wright will take a walk out and have a chat with Danny Kolditz. Could be day done for him.
As Levi's feet is already halfway to the mound.
And Mason, you are right. Yes, we allowed 4 in the second, so another big inning, and it's going to be day done for Danny Kolditz. So Levi's feet will come in and get warmed up. We will take a break. You're watching Kansas Club Baseball on the KU Club Baseball YouTube channel by no sponsors.
Welcome back to beautiful Topeka, Kansas, here at Bettis Sports Complex. I'm Tyler Mundo, joined alongside by Trevor Butler. And Trevor, this is the 4th team I am broadcasting for, as Charlie Marshall and I, who's the catcher and then next year's president, did the St. Joseph Mustangs. The first pitch nearly hits the shoulder of the Nebraska batter from Levi's feet. He's a lefty, or excuse me, he's a righty. He bats left. He's got that nice submarine arm slot. Good run. He also has a sweeper. Here's the 1-0. There goes the runner from first. Mike Ray out of the crouch. 1-hop throw, and it's out of the glove of Owen McGovern there. So a good job by Mike Ray, although Levi's feet not the fastest to the plate, and they swipe second here. A couple stolen bases for Nebraska, as their D1 team known for stealing, but their club baseball team also can fly. Kansas losing a couple of their base stealers, and Tyler Brundo and Ryan Camacho.
The California kids could fly, unfortunately not really with us. As count moves to 3-0.
Levi's got good stuff, just sometimes prone to the walk. As you mentioned, 3-0 count. Close stance, takes a look at second. Now back to the plate, here's the pitch, and that one misses down and away. Gets away from Mike Ray, so a pass ball. We'll have runners at the corners now, still 2 outs. Here in the top of the 4th inning, 7-2 Cornhuskers. As now batting the guy who nearly went yard. As I don't have his name, but we'll figure it out. Rocking the Bone Saber Hybrid. Very good bat. Never got a chance to use it. As this is Alex Imig. Sweet comes set. Slide step, and the pitch misses down and away, picked by Mike Ray. Good stop there from the Kansas backstop. Count 1-0.
Yeah, great play right there from Ray to not allow that to skip to the backstop. That's the type of thing that's going to allow more runs.
There's a check on first. Kind of got him leaning over there. But he's back safely. Aiden Day playing even with the bag at third base. Kyle Davis holding runners on. Big holes on the left and right side of the infield as there's a fastball on the outside corner in there. Sveit trying to work out of it. Came in for Kolditz, who gave up 6 runs. About half of them earned. Comes set. Here's the pitch from number 9. And it's in the dirt. Mike Ray doing a good job of keeping the ball in front of him. And the count going to be 2-1.
So Sveit just trying to find a way out of this inning. Trying not to let it snowball even further.
Long hold. Here's the pitch. There's a good changeup. Had him out in front. And he's trying to strike out Imig and get the Kansas Jayhawks back in the dugout. Kansas coming in 1-9 in conference play this year.
Yeah.
1-13 or 14 overall.
It's been a long year.
Here's the 2-2 pitch from Levi Sveit. And the sweeper outside gets away from Mike Ray. That's going to bring in a run. The trail runner takes second. And that'll make it 8-2 Nebraska. So a lot of wild pitches here for Sveit, but still has a chance to tightrope out of danger.
And it's tough because if you're Kansas, you add 2 in the bottom of the third, you start working your way back into this, and then Nebraska matches and even expands on what you did. It's got to be a little deflating.
Here's the 2-2. And this one chopped and past third base coach. We'll do it again at 3-2. Sveit the righty, freshman. A lot of guys in the Midwest, Minnesota guys. Peter Duma, one of them, not here today. Here's the 3-2. And that one chopped again toward third. Aiden Day with a fantastic effort, but it's going to go foul.
It's been a good rally here from Iving to kind of stay alive here and work this count.
Wind still blowing out to left field, so I'm a guy. We already saw the power. Bittner not playing too far back and left. Here's the 3-2, and that one misses down and away. So a 9-pitch walk there from number 10. And that'll be first and second now. Levi really trying to find it here. First 2 guys reaching base via the base on ball. First one was 4 pitches, that one 9 pitches. Got some good journalists out here today. We have a couple of broadcasters as well as someone from the University of Daly, Kansan, and Grady Johnson. As that fastball missed up and away, count 1-0.
So this is Camden Gadbois stepping to the plate.
Sorry, say his name again?
Camden Gadbois.
I believe he was all-region first team last year.
Oh, dear.
He is their best pitcher. There's a massive hack from Gambois, and the count going to be 1-1. This guy has been there for the past 3 years, Trevor.
Wow.
Always a guy that Kansas is known who has their number against him. Definitely strikes me as a junior college guy. He's got a pretty mighty swing there. I've never seen him pitch, but again, I know he throws in the upper 80s, sometimes low 90s. And that's a club ball 90 is an MLB 103. So there's a changeup, had him out in front, and he's trying to get Gambois with a runner on first and second. 3 runs in the inning for the Cornhuskers. Now you got a righty up and throwing. It's Justin Orloff. He's not really a pitcher, but anything happens in club baseball. Ray set up outside. Here's the 1-2. Fastball just missed. Home plate umpire didn't want to ring him up. And the count's going to remain 2-2. See what Sveit can do here. He threw a couple outside. Now set up for the back foot sweeper if he wants to go to it. Also has the changeup in his back pocket. 3-pitch mix for Sveit. Here's the 2-2. And this one grounded. McGovern lays out, makes the play, thrown on to first, picked by Kyle Davis. Owen McGovern gets the Jayhawks out of the inning, flashing the leather one time as the newly elected president showing his stuff here, Trevor. What a play from the second baseman.
Yeah, great play to get Kansas out of the inning. Unfortunately, it comes after 3 runs scored, so Nebraska extends that lead back out to 6 runs, and Kansas will again have to answer here in the bottom of the 4th.
8-2. Cornhuskers go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Keep it here on the Kansas Jayhawks Club Baseball broadcast on YouTube from nobody. Welcome back to the friendly confines of Bettis Sports Complex here in beautiful Topeka, Kansas. I'm Tyler Mundo, joined alongside by my sidekick, Trevor Butler.
Oh, I'm your sidekick now? I graciously invite you onto the broadcast, and this is what I get?
Sorry, sidekick and also Uber driver, Trevor Butler, as well as barista, as he got me a coffee this morning.
Buys you food and coffee 3 days a week.
Also my snuggle buddy once every 365 days. Here's the 0-1 to Mike Ray, and he's out in front. Little nubber. Pitcher goes to first base. Going to be a close play, and umpire rules out Mike Ray by a step, and that'll bring up Aiden Day now. So you got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. It was Ray who grounded out, Aiden Day, and then Jackson Pollock. See what Aiden Day can do. Jackson Pollock, if you had to bet on someone on the Kansas offense to go yard, it would be Jackson Pollock.
Would not hate that. I think I could put, someone like Kyle Davis in there as well, someone who's got a lot of pop in that bat.
And maybe if they summon him from the broadcast booth, but could maybe go with Tyler Mundo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me.
Well, I mean, we already know you're going yard. That's why you're not playing, they barred you from competition.
My nickname was the cheat code because it was just unfair. I was like John Dowd in those mid-2000s MLB video games.
Yeah, mostly a hitter though, Trevor Butler. I remember hitting a line drive to him in slow pitch softball, and he laid it.
In my defense, it was cold. Nothing was going right for my shins, and I was wearing shorts. That would not have felt good. I had to make a business decision. That's what they say.
The Hebrew Nationals knocking out the 7th floor crew twice in that tournament. Trevor Butler's still annoyed with it to this day.
I'm not bitter. Not at all.
As he saw the Iron Dome hit 4 home runs against the squad.
Got robbed of a few base hits by the one and only Iron Dome.
As there's a fastball on 3-0 in there to Aiden Day, and the count's going to be 3-1.
We would approach those games with the mentality of just find a way to not let Tyler go yard, and it should be okay, and then he went yard every time. So
And it's really hard when your own team is pitching to you. There's a check swing. Did he go? And Aiden Day holds up. So 1 out base runner for the man himself, Jackson Pollock. Rocking number 22 with that pink shin guard. And I'm going to get time called here from the pitcher asking for a new baseball. And don't worry, Trevor. I actually did not get out the entire slow pitch softball season. Although, again, it was like you had the guy who was trying really hard, who played club baseball, played junior college baseball, going up in a co-ed team. Unfortunately, we got blown out by Simple Truth in the championship.
If you're in the chat watching this one, please say something about getting Tyler to come play for my team next year. We're trying to recruit him.
Pitch to Pollock, breaking ball misses inside. We had 13 viewers for a second, now down to 4.
Oh wow, I don't know how this works sometimes, because it was 13 viewers about 2 seconds ago, and the 9 people just left.
I think they heard us talking about intramural softball and all decided to leave.
It's all members of my team, and they're all having flashbacks.
How many viewers did we get in Sterlington? Did we have a ton?
We had a lot. We had like 25 in one game.
Just awesome. Awesome to see the support of the NCBA.
It's the greatest league in the world.
Actually, it's funny. If you look up NCBA on Safari, you also get the National Cattlemen's Beef Association as that pitch misses down in. Aiden Day on the move. He's going to slide in safely. And it's going to be a 2-1 countdown to Pollock. Owen McGovern on deck made the fantastic diving play at second base. Maybe enough to fire up this dugout. Let him make a late push. A little bit of a late start today with the umpires coming in a little bit late. Here's the 2-1. Pollock takes it high and away. Maybe we'll see Coach Fitzgerald or some of the coaches scouting Pollock as he wants to play for the team next year.
Never know.
Always puts in the work at D-bat Lawrence. I see him there more than I am. Here's the 3-1, and that one misses down and in. He's going to flip that bat about 40 feet. Good launch angle.
He's going to flip the bat. And Jackson Pollock takes a walk to first.
I feel like I've heard that home run call one or two times. I think it's something. That ball's laced toward right field. Hit pretty well. He's going to flip the bat, and the Iron Dome drives in 3. Tyler Bermundo, how do you do? A 3-run jack. And it's 9-3 the visitors from Lawrence. That one called the strike on Owen McGovern. Crowds the plate. Here's the pitch, and he's going to pop this one foul out toward the other field here at Betta Sports Complex. We played there once against Missouri S&T, although it was a hurricane-like wind condition, so anything hit was just caught up by the wind. Wind blowing out now, so you never know. Owen McGovern doesn't have a home run yet. He had a couple chances in PCB, and he really went off in that series. That one missed outside. First and second, 1 out here for the Jayhawks. They trail by 6. McGovern crowding the plate again, toes on the chalk. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball stayed high. Pitcher didn't like the call there, and the count's going to be 2-2.
Might have been a little bit of a makeup call from an earlier on.
That could be correct. That one missed. There's one earlier called in the left-handed batter's box. Here's the 2-2, and that one, the same pitch, gets Owen McGovern reaching, and that'll bring up Grant O'Doherty, the 3-hitter, who's shuffled between shortstop and second base today. If you're just joining us, Danny Kolditz, 4 2/3 innings, giving up 8 runs. Kansas down 8-2. Although it could have been worse. Owen McGovern, fantastic diving play to keep the breath alive for Kansas. Fastball on the outside corner in there for strike 1. Pollock at first, Day at second, O'Doherty at the bat, Kyle Davis on deck. Here's the pitch, and that breaking ball missed outside by a hair. And the count going to be 1-1 now. Kansas Jayhawks not with their best season in club baseball, but certainly their best uniforms. The powder blues look beautiful, as O'Doherty going to foul it off. Unfortunately, every player has to give them back after the season's over. So Tyler Bermundo do not have a souvenir club baseball. I do have a hat, actually. I do have the Kansas baseball Warhawk hat. And my dues, I paid the entire year and only played half the year.
We thank you for your generous donation.
That's why Trevor Butler's here. I'm just kidding.
I'd say I'm here on a free, as I rent all my equipment from the journalism school and drive myself out here to beautiful Topeka, Kansas.
This is one of the shortest drives you're going to have all year.
Oh, yeah.
Although we did play at Lawrence High, and this one fouled off to the right. I actually remember I was doing a game for the Free State Firebirds, and I was talking to one of their players and tried to recruit him for club baseball, although I don't think he showed up. I said, if you really want to keep playing baseball, I don't want to worry about the stress, come play club baseball. Here's the 2-2, and that one missed down and away. Count full now. Both runners will get a head start here with first and second and a full count. It's one of those days where it feels like it's going to rain and we're just not getting it.
You're just kind of waiting and expecting it.
There's a step off there from the pitcher. One of my favorite things in club baseball is in California JUCO rules, if you stepped off, you had to attempt a pickoff, and some guys would just flick their wrist as both runners go. This one's lined to right field. Aiden Day rounding third. He's going to come home. Jackson Pollock stops at third. An RBI single for O'Doherty as Kansas now trails by 5. It's 8-3, but Kyle Davis, the cleanup man, coming up to bat. He's got light tower power, trying to cut this lead down even more.
It's a good reference right there.
You know where that's from? Oh my gosh, Trevor Butler, very educated.
Yeah.
What do you know about the ever dangerous Sean Buden on deck? otherwise known as Mike Trout. Michael Nelson Trout.
The weatherman, some might call him.
Mike Trout, actually, very similar to Joey Gallo's stats this year. 9 home runs, batting under 200. Kyle Davis watches a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Kansas dugout kind of getting into it right now. It's 8-3 ball game.
Trying to get fired up a little bit.
There goes the runner from first. O'Doherty is going to slide in safely. No throw there from the Nebraska catcher. So now we got second and third and a 1-1 count here for Kyle Davis.
I said it earlier, but the soccer game I was watching just went final. My team has won the championship. Shout out Liverpool, very exciting. First time in 5 years that they brought it home. So
it's pretty awesome to hear. Yeah.
Very cool.
You also have the Kansas Jayhawks B team out in Salt Lake City. They're pitching at 2 o'clock, first pitch. Cannon Carr on the bump.
Looking for the sweep of Utah.
As that one missed outside, count 3-1 to Kyle Davis. I actually always joked, because last year Kansas baseball didn't have the best start, and KU club baseball had a fantastic start, and I said we should play at Hoagland, and winner gets the field. As that one swung on a miss from Kyle Davis, count going to be full now. See what he can do. 3-2, runners on second and third. From the belt, kicks, fires, and Davis fouls it off right back toward the screen. And the count can be full again at 3-2. Kyle Davis rocking those glasses. Looking like the Incredible Hulk out here. See if he can put some anger into this baseball. Righty, turns, fires, slow windup, and the pitch. Gets him reaching strike 3, so Kansas gets 1 back, but they still trail by 5. Don't go anywhere on the Kansas Club Baseball broadcast on YouTube from nobody. We're muted.
No, we're not.
Just kidding, we're not muted, and we're back live here at Bettis Sports Complex. I'm Tyler Mundo, joined alongside by my boss, Trevor Butler. This one grounded to the right. Levi Svee going to take it all the way. A 1 unassisted. You don't see that every day.
Good
and
hustle play there.
There was 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. And so far, Trevor, my broadcast has given up 3 runs. You've given up 5. Although you're beating me 2-1 in the scoring department. As I missed that. What's going on here?
Not totally sure. Mike Ray is going to come out of the game, and Charlie Marshall is coming in, it looks like.
Kyle Davis also out of the game, so Max Rosencrantz comes into first base. Maybe a couple guys who have been to the program forever getting their curtain call here, as I assume they're not going to play next week in St. Louis. And I never got that treatment when I walked off the field. I guess no one knew I was going to leave Sterlington, Louisiana.
Maybe you should have gotten a curtain call for that performance.
Yeah, and I feel like I remember that performance. I want to say it was like 7 for 9 with 3 doubles, a home run, 7 innings pitched, a 1-run baseball, something like that. And I told Trevor before the broadcast, I'm never playing baseball again.
He said he is done. He's going to retire on top.
Here's the 0-1 from Svi. This one popped up left side. The pitcher's feet goes for it, but it's actually Aiden Day who slides and can't make a play. That one kind of drifted back toward the field of play. But it's an 0-2 count now. Charlie Marshall also on the prowl. And there's a chance, if they get a run around first, Charlie Marshall could throw to his new co-president to get some guys out.
Be a cool little link up right there.
Also, to Trevor Butler's parents, if they're watching, the fact that they really thought I was a serious broadcaster is one of the funniest things ever. Trevor, you want to tell that story?
I'll tell that story. My mom called me after one of the Kansas baseball games that I did with Tyler, and she goes, "Wow, Tyler's great. Like he seems so serious and seems so like focused." And I go, "Mom, I've been in a car with Tyler for 9 hours. He might be the least serious person." As Mike Ray comes up here and announces that this is his retirement.
Mike Ray, a 4-year vet of this program, got his curtain call.
We'll see if he wants to come say something on the broadcast between innings, give some words of advice. He's going to come up here into the booth. I'll find a way to take my mic off.
That's awesome.
Mike, congratulations on a great career.
Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure.
Clip that on.
Mike Ray, some amazing accolades. Here's the 1-2, and that one misses down in. Mike, how you doing today?
You know, not bad. A little cold. Wish it was a little warmer, but it'll play.
How are the emotions flowing right now? You know, being with this program 4 years, I believe?
You know, I've seen it in its ups and downs, and maybe on the down right now, but it's only up from here.
There's a fastball swung on and missed. Levi Svi gets him out number 2. He's done it all this inning, a 1 unassisted and then a strikeout here. Now we got 2 outs for number 23 for Nebraska. Mike, you're saying?
No, it's been a great 4 years. Made some friends forever, and got to play the great game of baseball.
You have a specific moment that has been your favorite so far?
Oh, gosh. Wood Wars, or winning the Flint Hills here at Bettis Sports Park back in 2023. Fall of 23, that was pretty good.
It's a great one. I remember coming on with that program. I know one of our least favorite was LSU. Not this year either, but last year, because they got us twice.
That was a good tournament 2 years ago, but...
This one's chopped out to Svi. Can he make all 3 outs? Goes to first, and he makes the play. Svi to Rosencrantz, a 1-2-3 inning for the Jayhawks. It's even go to break, but we got a couple Kansas baseball legends here with us who can talk us through it. Kyle Davis now joins us in the broadcast booth.
We'll give it over to Kyle Davis here.
Kyle Davis, part-time president, part-time first baseman.
What can I say? Man of many hats, you know, many talents.
Kyle Davis, I just asked Mike this, but how are the emotions after stepping off the field, Kansas Club baseball?
Tired.
Yeah.
It was going to end at some point. I got 20 years out of playing baseball. I got to play in college for a little bit. I got to come do this, which was fun. So I appreciate everybody that's, you know, all the friends I've made doing this, all the people I've met, the experiences. Man, I wouldn't want anything else.
Well, maybe Kyle will talk to the future presidents and maybe get a club baseball alumni game, get us all back on the diamond.
I think that might be in the works. We're trying to do something next year, do a little like alumni game, see if we can get some guys together. It's going to be hard. Everybody, you know, graduates college and moves away, but if we can get something on the books, get something scheduled, hopefully next year or next couple of years, it'll be in the plans and we can get something on the calendar.
Imagine the tandem. You got Nate Nicewinger back, Kyle Davis, Mike Ray. I think I would technically be an alumni, right? I mean, I'm still with the school, but I'm not playing next semester, so I'll play on that team. Could be pretty fun.
You want to play on the winning team?
That's of course.
Oh, yeah, they have no chance. But no, it's cool. This has been a great time. I mean, Shayton has been with us. He's our president right now. I mean, 3 years he's been with us. He's been helping us run the team. And then Charlie and Owen are taking over next year, and hopefully we can turn things around next year and get back to some postseason baseball.
Let me pick your brain a little bit, Kyle. What does being the club president entail? Because it's not just being the head coach, so to speak.
It's mostly logistical. I mean, you gotta deal with a group of 18 to 23-year-olds. It's pretty hard to get all those guys together in one space, and it's rewarding though. I mean, especially my experience last year where we went to the postseason, had a pretty good team, and it was probably the best experience I've had playing baseball in I don't know how many years. So it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding.
Now, Kyle, you also said you were a JUCO guy. Maybe felt a little bit burnt out after that, but now you've kind of found a new love, or that same love you had for baseball. Tell me more about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, leaving the JUCO is burnt out. I mean, you go from 8-hour days of baseball.
As Boone hit this one out to center field, it's slicing, but the center fielder right in his spot makes the play.
Tried to hit a little draw there or something. I think he was trying to put some spin with like a pitching wedge, it looked like. I'm not sure. But,
Looked like your pitching wedge guy.
But yeah, no. I mean, I went from 8-hour days just working on baseball to getting burnt out. So coming here, getting to play, a fun game. It's a child's game. I was fortunate enough to do it for 20 years. It was worth it. So.
Not really was.
If anybody could come play club ball, if you think that you might be burnt out, this will reignite your love for sure.
No, it's such a great environment because it's still competitive. You still get that feel, that knack for baseball, if you will, but you also don't have to worry about it becoming too much of a priority. You can still do other extracurriculars at Kansas, but go out for a weekend, go travel some cool places with the boys.
You're an example of that. I mean, you went from playing club ball and doing your school and everything, got an opportunity out of doing this, and it led you to stay with your passion, your love of baseball, getting to do hopefully what it's going to be for the future.
As that one through the 3-4 hole, a nice diving play by the second baseman. As both second basemen in this ball game, excellent plays deep in the hole, and that's the second out of the inning. But no, Kyle, I totally agree with you. I don't think people know this. It's not really something I'd tell as like my first pitch, but I played only a quarter of my second season at JUCO because of an injury, and then I never really had that love of playing the 8-hour days. While for me, I lost my starting spot when I was hurt, and I probably would have rode the bench. And now I get to do what I love. I got to have a great internship while I was still with the team, go travel, and like you said, Kyle, I would love to be doing this higher up levels as we keep on going. And this one grounded back to the pitcher, and it looks like a pair of 1-2-3 innings for both Nebraska and the Jayhawks. Kyle, thank you for coming out and joining us on the broadcast. We're going to miss you here, as well as Mike Ray. Just a quick picture. As we will get a quick picture during the break. Don't go anywhere on the Kansas Club Baseball YouTube live stream from Nobody. We're back live here in Topeka, Kansas. I'm Tyler Mundo, joined alongside by Trevor Butler as we learned a couple things. One, that the series next week against St. Louis was canceled, and we saw Kyle Davis as well as Mike Ray play their last games in a Kansas Jayhawk club baseball uniform. Feels like a turning of the tide, a new look Kansas team. Charlie Marshall, Owen McGovern, two sophomores will be juniors next year, taking over the reins. As we got an 8-3 ball game in the top of the sixth inning, Justin Orloff on the mound as his first pitch is fouled off. Count 0-1. Trevor, take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, so like you said, this is the final game of the season for Kansas club baseball. It's been a lot of fun, and I can certainly say I've had a great time out here, putting some work in, getting some stuff done. And I can say I will be back next year for a year or two. I'm sure Mason will join me alongside. I'm sure we'll get Mr. Bermundo out here for a couple games. I'd love to have somebody doing some work with me. Always a good time. But no, it's been quite a lot of fun this year, as that's taken outside for ball too, and Kansas will definitely try to put up a little more of a fight here in the late innings of this one, with it being the final game of the season.
And Trevor, you're also going to get some chances to do it for the actual KU team.
That's certainly been a lot of fun this year, as that's skied on the infield and caught right on the lip of that outfield grass. There's one down. No, it's certainly been a lot of fun.
And it is a great experience, great group of guys. Someone called it a baseball frat, if you will. And I think it's a very, very similar idea, although we don't have a club baseball house, which maybe could be in the works.
Cool. Taking low ball one.
It's also nice to see a game fly by. An hour and a half, and we're in the sixth inning.
Yeah, not too bad.
Although I got to say, the Kansas versus Nebraska game on Tuesday, that was a very quick game.
Yeah, that was moving.
So to take you through that day, we left Lawrence at about noon, got to Lincoln at about 3:30. Game time was at 6:05, and that game finished up 8:30.
Yeah.
It was a 2.5-hour game in D1 baseball. I somehow went to sleep before 1 o'clock after going to Lincoln, Nebraska and calling a baseball game, leaving at noon.
That is crazy. I was actually at the Royals game that night against the Rockies, and that game was moving itself for the first, I'd say, 8 2/3 innings. I mean, to think about it, it was I was actually writing the Gamer article for the University of Daily Kansas of that Kansas-Nebraska baseball game, so I was following along with that on Stat Broadcast, and I actually wrote that entire Gamer from the stands of Kauffman Stadium. So always putting in work, always trying to get better, no rest. But those two games finished up at not the exact same time, but they were on pace to finish up almost back-to-back before the Royals game went to extras.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Now, Trevor, a Astros fan by trade, though, right? And you're also from Seattle.
Yes, sir.
So when did you hop on that bandwagon?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was the bandwagon, because I became a fan in 2012.
Fair enough. Were those the Lance Berkman days?
Yeah, that was like the late Berkman era, the Brick Red era, like right before it. It was the last year of the Brick Red era.
Back when Jose Altuve was just some 5'5" second baseman.
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was the bandwagon, because they were winning 45, 50 games a year at that point. My dad grew up in Houston, so I grew up watching the Astros. I've always had a love for that team. I remember sitting in my living room. I bought a bunch of the gear when they won the championship in 2017. Had my American League Champions Fly the Pennant t-shirt. I have a vintage Nolan Ryan jersey. I've got an Altuve jersey. My prized possession that I actually wore last night to the Astros-Royals game, which was an atrocious offensive output from the Astros.
So the Yordan Alvarez one?
No, it's my Lance McCullers 2022 World Series Champions jersey. I got the jersey and the hat. Got them both on sale in Houston, summer of 2023. And I got the McCullers jersey and the Yordan Alvarez 2023 All-Star Game jersey for a combined $125. Two Major League Baseball jerseys for $125.
You get it on Temu?
No, got them from the Astros team store in Houston.
Wow.
$75 from the colors, $50 for the Yordan.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah, and the hat was $10. They do some wonderful sales out there at the Union Station team stores, that's going to line foul.
The best deal I got was I was at Lids and they had $10 hats. So I had an Angels golf hat. Like it literally said Angels, and I believe it was the L was a flagstick in golf.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I got the Angels 2024 All-Star hat
That's pretty awesome.
for $10. Curved brim, snapback.
Nice. I did think it was cool that I was able to get a 2023 All-Star Game jersey. That, of course, the All-Star Game in Seattle, I was going to go, but I was actually in Canada that week at a youth group camp. So I was in the middle of the forest in Canada with no phone, no cell service, kind of roughing it out there. Incredible week, beautiful scenery. A little disappointed I missed that, but I had the reasoning. I'm doing the sports broadcasting job. I'm doing all the sports writing, and if all works out, I'm sure I'll have a few chances to go to All-Star games.
Oh, that would be great. Just getting to go, get paid for it.
Oh man.
Go hang out with some Aaron Judges and the Shohei Ohtanis of the world. I guess when we're going to be in that group, it won't be those days. It'll be the Jared Jones days, the Paul Skeens days, the Ellie De La Cruz days.
Cam Smith days.
Kyron Paris.
Yeah.
Whoa. No
I
Kyron
guess every
Paris
team does get one
slander.
All-Star, so.
That's crazy. How about the Ryan Zephyr-John days? Well, Lawrence, or not.
Yeah.
Not is he a Lawrence, I don't know if he's a Lawrence native, but the former Kansas Jayhawk.
I'm hoping with the way things are shaking out, I wouldn't mind being the Dom Vagley days, the Brady Ballinger days out there at the All-Star game.
Don't forget Derek Serta.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, can't shut out Alex Breckheimer.
Breckheimer, Cooper Moore. I think, conservatively speaking, maybe every guy on this roster could go make an impact. But I just love to see a few of these guys from this magical Kansas baseball team this season go on to make an impact, because that's inside, and the bases are going to be walked loaded by Orloff, who's got a big smile on his face out there, having a good time, and Shaten Wright will take a walk out there. Somebody up and throwing in that Kansas bullpen. I can't quite see.
That's Ryan Tackins.
Awesome. Shedding the ball boy duty for now.
And Justin Orloff, the younger brother of Evan Orloff, who was almost a all-region catcher. He just didn't have the games played the at-bat requirement, but he was a stud. Evan Orloff had 2 home runs in a game against K-State. I believe he had 3 home runs in the doubleheader, and he was one of the best Kansas Club baseball players we've ever seen. So going back to the alumni game, I think the alumni with Nate Neiswanger, Tyler Raimundo, Kyle Davis, Mike Ray, as well as Evan Orloff, could be a really force to be reckoned with. There's a first pitch changeup in there for strike 1 from Orloff.
Maybe we'll mic you up for that one, and you can call the game in the field or something. Throw an AirPod in. We can get you on.
Sounds great.
Just don't be like Kyle Hendricks in the All-Star game a few years ago.
Did he say some choice words?
When he had some choice words while he was trying to close out a game.
My favorite was Liam Hendricks did the same thing. He's
Yeah,
Australian.
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Why did I think of Kyle Hendricks? Yeah, I was thinking of him in the 2021 All-Star game, as that's going to be flared out into center field. It's going to get down, and 2 runs will come around to score. So Nebraska tacks on 2, brings this lead back out to 7 runs at 10-3.
See if they want to call to the lefty in the broadcast booth, or the righty.
Oh, yeah, you never know.
Yeah, 2 of them. I mean, I believe Trevor Butler is never allowed to run in club baseball.
That
He's
is
been
true.
on the mound.
0 ERA. I've actually gone yard in every bat I've taken this season, too.
That is very true.
It's going to roll to the backstop, and both runners will move up 90 feet.
Evan Orloff, with that smile on his face, super happy to be there. Now, here's a great story for you. Remember the Hebrew Nationals?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about last year? We had 33% of our starting lineup was Jewish.
Really?
Yes, it was me, Justin Orloff, Evan Orloff. We also had Buddy Ashkenazi. We also had Carson Kay, all Jewish guys. In fact, you could make a almost full entire lineup of Jewish guys, ZBT, and AE Pi guys.
Wow.
Talk about representation.
And the dirt ball, too.
This is literally the Team Israel B team at this point.
The World Baseball Classic challengers.
The U24 guy. And we also had Nate Neiswanger, who wore a cross eye black and a Star of David eye black.
That's awesome.
Here's a great story for you. We had the tryouts in club baseball this year. Mike Ray, as well as Nate Neiswinger, taking some fun live ABs with a twisted T in the batter's box.
Chop foul, 2-2.
And then I was in the tryout, and I threw live at bats with a knuckleball. Tried to work
Good
that one out
gravy.
there.
Yeah, Tyler and I talked in the car on the way out here. We said, what are we gonna do when this game is not close? And clearly it's this, just banter up here in the press box.
Just wait for the Kansas Jacks to storm back.
Not out of it yet, as that's popped up on the infield. Out towards shallow right, it's gonna get down. And 2 more runs will score for Nebraska. It's 12-3 Cornhuskers. Keelan Tunnel unable to make the play out in right field.
Well, here's the thing, Trev. It's a 2-possession game. Touchdown and field goal. You're back
You
up.
never know. Couple onside kicks, but Kansas in a good spot here.
Still got plenty of game left. Just in the almost be like the start of the third quarter right now.
Yeah. We've seen bigger comebacks.
In Kansas club baseball, Texas A&M. See any resemblance?
Quite a fall from grace. Obviously, Texas A&M, though, they have, at least as of late, been able to kind of turn it around. They're trying to avoid getting swept by the Texas Longhorns today out in Austin, so that's got to be bitter. You lose your head coach, you fall out of the rankings from number 1 as they skyrocket to number 1, and then they sweep you at their place. But I grew up a Texas fan, so I'm always for that.
It's also weird, with conference realignment, the Jayhawks obviously having a great year. There goes the runner from first. And he's safe, but it's weird seeing that because Big 12 play, I mean, right now the juggernauts are West Virginia, Kansas, TCU, and you can also throw in Arizona State in the mix. And then you have 2 teams, I believe, ranked in the top 10 or 15 with Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oklahoma, I believe, ranked 14th. They did lose last night. I wouldn't be surprised if they fall a little bit. But Texas, very good, and I'm certainly not complaining. I still am a Texas sports fan, obviously not as much as Kansas, but I'm always happy to see them do well and to kind of grow up during a down period of Texas athletics, because that's caught by day and will end the inning. But Nebraska scores 4. We'll get back to this in the bottom of the frame. 12-3 Cornhuskers, your score. We head to the bottom of the 6th. You're watching Kansas Club Baseball on the KU Club Baseball YouTube channel by nobody. So back here in the bottom of the 6th, Tyler away right now. He had to make the obligatory bathroom break, so it's just me for the time being. Kansas trailing this one by 9. It's going to be Charlie Marshall stepping in to lead us off. First pitch he sees is outside for ball number 1, and that's how we get going. In the final game of the season for Kansas, as Marshall waves at that one, might have caught a piece of it, but nothing more. Final game of a season that started with some very high expectations for this Kansas team, but has kind of gone by the wayside. An unfortunate start to the year. They struggled having to be on the road for the first month or so of the season. They went to PCB, went to Rolla, went to Omaha, and then we're on the road against Rockhurst University. And obviously last week getting swept against Missouri. They did get in the win column yesterday, so Mason able to be the one on call for the only victory of the season. Very cool experience for him, as that's called for strike two. But about wrapping things up, next weekend series with St. Louis canceled, and obviously no postseason play this year for the Jayhawks. As Marshall's going to drill that one out to left, and it's going to sit down, so leadoff single for Charlie Marshall here in the sixth as Tyler comes trotting back into the booth. Welcome back.
Thank you, Trevor. It's good to be back. This might be a little bit of TMI, but I did just go to the signature porta potty out there in right field here at Bettis Sports Complex.
Oh, wonderful.
Might be one of the last times I'll ever go in there.
Joys of club baseball. Are you telling us you won't be joining us here next year?
Yes, that's a fair point. There's a good chance. Maybe the game's at Lawrence High. Maybe Charlie Marshall can pull some
Wouldn't
strings.
mind that. Wouldn't mind not having to drive 45 minutes and having to, make the 5-minute drive from my apartment next year. That's going to be chopped over to second. Could be trouble. Flipped to first. Runs up the line. Day is going to hold on at first. No throw back. He was kind of wandering around out in fair territory there. But there's one down as they can't turn the double play. It looked a lot like the failed double play against Oklahoma State for the actual Kansas baseball team that I got to call a couple runs scoring on.
That's very true.
It's a good time. That clip up on my LinkedIn, of course.
Of course. I think there's someone in the comments said you're on your way to calling some Kansas baseball games in Omaha, and I believe you
How
did.
true he was. I got a text from Tyler saying I'm about to drop the most hilarious LinkedIn inside joke of all time. It was pretty good. I'll take it.
And no one could detect it.
No. Pollock lines that one out to right field. It's going to sit down. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. They're going to give Day the windmill. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. Aiden Day scores from first, turning on the Jets. And Kansas gets one back here with one out in the sixth. That's 12-4.
Jackson Pollock trying to make a case to be
He is.
all-region, all-American. Man, the tandem, if he was here last year, the tandem, or the three-way duo of Jackson Pollock, Tyler Mundo, and Nate Nicewanger. Could have one of the best outfield the NCBA has ever
The
seen.
road to Alton really could have been completed.
Well, maybe he could pitch, too.
Yeah, that too.
Definitely is what plagued us.
Outside to McGovern for ball one. Bottom of the sixth, 10 minutes shy of 2 hours in this one. That is called in the corner for strike one.
It's funny how short this feels for me, a guy who has gone out to some of the road games where we show up 3.5 hours early from game time. It's like a 7-hour day, and right now I'm like, holy cow. We're
McGovern pokes
almost
that
done.
one to left, and it's going to score another run. Pollock takes a trot on home, and Owen McGovern's got himself a one-out RBI single. It's 12-5.
Don't call it a comeback, Trev.
Ain't over till it's over. We've seen crazier things happen.
I mean, I remember a time where Kansas baseball was down 7-0 in a regional and ended up rallying back and winning the game 9-8.
And it looks like Nebraska's going to opt for a pitching change, so we'll let the new haircut warm up for the Cornhuskers, and we'll take a break. You're watching Kansas Baseball on the KU Club Baseball YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere. Back here, bottom six, one man aboard, one man away here for Kansas, and it's going to be Grant O'Doherty stepping in with a man on second. That's outside. A new haircut in the ballgame for Nebraska. I'll take a look and tell you who that is. Got to fire up the old game changer for just a second.
Actually got some velo on, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Number 21, that is Grant Fulmer on the hill for the Cornhuskers, and he's really humming them so far.
That's probably high 80s, I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's 102 in club baseball right there.
It's got outlier. That's a long day of studying for finals and gonna face 88 in club ball.
Runs outside, some decent break on that one. Holy cow!
That was a strike.
My apologies, they called that strike too.
I think the umpires didn't even see it.
They're volunteers, we're volunteers. You can't sit here and criticize, but that one looked like it missed a little bit.
What's funny is, even though that was a ball outside, that one looked more
That
struck
one was a little bit closer to the other one.
This guy's actually helmeted.
Wow.
It's kind of
This
part
is
of me.
moving. Maybe you need to go get in there and show them what we're about here.
Top out at 79, Trev. I just had good off speed.
2-2 in the dirt, full count. Grant O'Doherty about to have a Kyle Schwarber style crash out. Have you seen that clip? Spikes the bat.
Yes, I have. You mean where he calmly told the umpire what he felt?
I disagree with your call, Blue. That's not very nice. That's actually what I heard that Schwarber said is that's called for strike three. Must have just caught the outside corner and there's two away.
Yeah, I really feel like umpire that ball was just a little bit outside, but I want to also hear your point of view.
That's I watched the John Boy breakdown. He read those lips. That's exactly what he said.
Max Rosencrantz coming off the bench is going to see 88.
That runs outside. He lost the glove. Wind is starting to pick up, and now it's really blowing out toward left field.
One of my favorite stories is when Kansas played Baylor the year before I got here. They had a guy do a rehab assignment in club baseball.
Oh wow, like a Baylor player.
A Baylor player. They saw 92 on the radar gun.
Well, that's new. I've heard that some schools use their club teams as Rosencrantz swings through that one for strike one. And
that is correct. You got Grand Canyon University, Arizona State, both move guys in and up.
That's crazy. I didn't know they could do that. Because I know in the NCBA rosters freeze. I don't necessarily know how it works in college baseball.
I honestly don't know if it's the beginning of the season. I mean, I thought you couldn't play any form of organized baseball outside of what you're doing, but or maybe it's a year-to-year thing. Could be where you're gonna play with club ball, get your reps now, and then you'll move back up or whatever you want.
Would that preserve a year of eligibility? As that runs inside. And hustling home is McGovern. He'll slide on in. It's a 6-run ball game. Kansas working their way back into this one a little bit. And it's 3-1.
I do believe technically, it's my 4th year of college. I played 2 years of junior college ball, but they had the court case that gave years of eligibility for guys playing in JUCO, and then I played 2 years of club baseball. So hypothetically, if I tried out for the team after announcing a game, I think I have 5 years left in my eligibility.
Well, I would check with Coach Fitz, because you never know. As Rosencrantz will take ball 4 and trot on down to first. A 6-run ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. 12-6 Nebraska your score, and Sean Booden will step in with 2 down.
Yeah, I'll try to get you an invite, Trev, but I believe they have staff BP at some point in the year.
That'd be awesome.
And really, I think I'm going to turn really hard if I can sneak one down the line at home. I think I can maybe do it. I mean, if I've hit a home run at Sterlington, Louisiana with a wood bat, maybe I can sneak one out of Hoagland.
Beautiful Sterlington Sports Complex.
The beautiful Quality Inn where we stayed at, right?
Oh, man.
It was the Best Western, I don't even remember.
That's something like that.
All I know is the bed size wasn't big enough for the 2 of us.
I think it was, actually. I believe you are mistaken. My favorite part of that evening was around 2 a.m. I hadn't slept a lick, and I just stood up and said, you know what? What if I sleep on the floor? Laid down on the floor for a second. Figured it would actually be better, as that is called strike one on the inside corner. Figured it'd actually just be better to enjoy my sliver of bed than to deal with laying on the what felt like a concrete floor.
Well, to be fair, Trev, for the last half hour, I think you did have the bed all splits in half.
Yeah, split in half for the last half hour.
And it was really funny because I literally don't remember any of that. And then right before we were supposed to wake up, that one's popped up in the air, left side.
And skips out of his glove. He can't hold on to it over at third. It's going to be new life for Sean Boone.
Well, like I was saying, I remember we slept in the same bed together, and that time, the last 30 minutes, instead of me being in the middle of the bed, taking up the entire room, I rolled over to the corner of my bed, woke up, and had no recollection of what happened. And I was like, Trevor, what are you talking about? I've been here the whole time.
Yep. That was the best part, is I got my 30 minutes of restful sleep, and then I went out and called back-to-back baseball games at 8 in the morning, and had some choice words for my technology.
Here's an interesting stat for you. Tyler Raimundo batting .777 when Trevor Butler is in the same bed as him.
I'm not going to comment on that. We go to the top of the 7th. Still 12-6 your score. You're watching Kansas Club Baseball on the KU Club Baseball YouTube channel. So back to it here in the top of the 7th. Nebraska leading the way, 12-6 your score. I'm Trevor Butler, joined alongside by Tyler Bermundo. And Tyler, we've had a good time here today.
We've had a great time. I forgot we're even watching a baseball game right now. Just telling some great stories. You have a favorite club baseball moment so far, Trevor?
Oh man, that's a good question. Failing to back the car out of the Taco Bell parking lot in Sterlington was pretty funny, I might say. That whole Sterlington trip, for however disappointing it was, made some pretty funny moments between what we just talked about with Tyler not understanding how to allow other people to sleep peacefully. between the Taco Bell, between just sent out toward left field and down for a base hit. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. And he's going to hold up at second, a stand-up lead-off double to open the 7th inning for Nebraska. But between the Taco Bell, between my 30 minutes of sleep that night, bantering with the LSU burners at Walk-On Sports Grill.
Well, hold on, because we really got to break down that play. You can talk about sorry, let's cut you off right there, Trev. There's a line drive out to left field. You can look at Ben McDonald with that jump there, and he couldn't get there. My favorite part was Jackson Pollock not moving at all on that play, as all you saw was his head turned toward the corner of the outfield, and watched it take a couple hops as it crashed down to the wall.
And Ryan Taken's in the ballgame as he fires that one low for ball one. But no, at the Walk-Ons Sports Bar and Grill in Sterlington, Louisiana. We could not figure out how to get a table, and I was bantering back and forth with an LSU burner as this one sent out towards center, and Pollock was camped under it for out number one. I was bantering with an LSU burner on Twitter, and he was making fun of us for losing. I was going after him for something stupid, and he goes, L plus ratio plus you can't even get a table at Walk-Ons correctly. And I just had to applaud him for that.
That's A grade Twitter banter right there. I mean, the fact that he called him out, saw it how it was, made a factual statement. What could you have done in that moment?
Yeah.
I mean, not only did Kansas baseball blow a 6-run lead. Oh my gosh.
We went back to the hotel, and I had to drive the first 3 hours back to Lawrence because I was the only person that was sober in that car, I believe.
I thought I drove that actually.
No, I opened up because we listened to my music for like 3 hours.
That's right, your big booty mixes.
Shout out to two friends at Big Booty Mix. I love to spam that on those long car rides because I don't have to pick any music. Time called as it's runners on the corners here. One down here in the top of the 7th. Nebraska looking to add on after a 3-run bottom of the 6th from Jayhawks. I'd say we had a good time on that car.
I think the craziest part, Trevor, is you've been talking about some of the stories you've had, and you never went to PCB Florida with the team. Because those are some memories that'll last you a lifetime. I'll tell you
I ended
that.
up getting the flu over spring break, actually.
Ah.
That was a grand old time. That runs in for ball 1.
I was out in Arizona with the team.
Spent the first 2 days of break rotting in my bed. I was very ill. Always a joy. Ate exclusively bagels for 2 days because my mom DoorDashed me a bunch of Panera bagels. Not bad.
Wow. On a side note, do you have dining dollars for off-campus dining?
Oh dear. I unfortunately do not.
So guess Tyler won't be getting lunch today.
Sorry about that. Speaking of lunch, I was actually promised by the man to my left some chicken Alfredo, and not seeing any chicken Alfredo today.
Actually, Trevor, the chicken Alfredo was made on Monday. You just decided to up and leave for some conference in Seattle.
Yeah, I had to go. I had to go talk about you in my journalism conference, and now I'm rudely being denied my chicken Alfredo. Is that he's in the dirt for ball 3?
Trevor Butler, depending on what you're doing tomorrow or Wednesday, there might be some more chicken Alfredo.
I'll have to check my schedule.
It was very good.
Should be free Wednesday. Making plans on the broadcast, not too bad.
Average day in KU Club baseball.
Always.
At least in 2025. 2024, it was actually such a try-hard moment.
We locked in for a little while.
Oh my gosh, no, we were
ball 4.
right. I think we went 13-2 that year.
Jeez.
It was a historic performance. Nearly made it to Kearney. I mean, my gosh.
Kearney chaos.
I think what's crazy is how good the teams in the regional work. Because every team, I believe in the Mid-America South bracket has a D1 team. Although maybe I don't know about St. Louis, but excluding them, every team is a D1 team. So we're not as competitive. Every team in the regional last year, Colorado, Colorado State, and Iowa State, all had a coaching staff.
That's crazy.
And Iowa State practices 5 days a week for 3 hours.
Good gravy.
Because they don't have a D1 team, so this is basically their D1.
Yeah.
I mean, Chase Brickley walked up with a Colorado State baseball shirt, and oh my gosh, it was just a thing. And we come up with our ragtag team of guys and our club president. I mean, we literally had Kyle Davis in the home plate meeting with the full-on Colorado State baseball coach. And we somehow competed and came in second in that thing. Also, shout out to, I think it was Penn State knocking off Michigan in #Road to Alton, the NCBA World Series.
The Road to Alton, the greatest sporting event ever, perhaps.
Oh, for sure. If you don't know where Alton, Illinois is, nobody does.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're not alone. Let's call it for strike 2.
I remember the 5-hour car ride to Kearney, Nebraska. I believe it was either the week right after finals week or right before. And then to get an excuse, hey, sorry, I have to. I can't make up the assignment because I will be in Kearney, Nebraska.
I have to go to Kearney Chaos, Professor.
And obviously they'd understand because that's the highest level of baseball there is. Actually, it goes Kearney, Nebraska, and then the MLB, and then AAA, and then AA.
I remember back at the start of the year when the expectations for this team were sky high, as that's outside ball 4, and another run will walk itself in for Nebraska. It's 13-6. So it feels like a very classic Sunday college baseball matchup. Both staffs kind of struggling, allowing a lot of runs. 2 hours, 10 minutes into this one here in the top of the 7th.
Also, I know Andrew Faulkner for this team this week, I believe.
He injured himself a couple weeks ago, actually. Had an MRI on his shoulder last week. Not totally sure how that went. We were chatting about it. He's in my Journalism 302 class, so we were having a conversation about that.
Andrew Faulkner, no-hitter last year against K-State. Andrew Faulkner in the fall, get this, 1 walk, and this is in 2023 fall, 1 walk, 1 run given up in his 18 innings of work.
That's crazy.
It was ridiculous.
Low ball 2. Nebraska doing a good job of just working the count here in the top of the 7th. Extending these at-bats. Let's call it for strike 1. Still only 1 out here in the top of the 7th as well.
Getting pretty low on the bullpen depth chart right now. I wonder if Tyler Brundo in his sweatpants might get the call.
They will call you in at this point. You got the jersey on. As that's sent back up the middle. That's going to sit down. 1 run will score with ease. Everybody's going to go station to station. They're going to wave him home. There was a collision out there between Tunnel and Pollock. 2 runs will score, and it's going to be runners on the corners with 1 down. As it is 15-6 Nebraska. Didn't quite see what happened out there, Tyler. What was that?
I don't know what to say, Trevor.
Did they just run into each other?
I've seen collisions on fly balls. There was a ground ball. That ball was nearly stopped, but guys just not communicating out there.
I recommend the best viewing experience for Kansas Club Baseball is with Yakety Sax in the background.
What?
I guarantee you know this song. Do you know this song? I promise you know Yakety Sax. We're going to take a quick music break here as I open my Spotify. Let me get to the actual saxophone part as that swung through.
Yeah, I definitely do know that one. Nebraska just keeps on. Kansas feels like they can creep their way back in it, but now they're down 9. They put up 3 runs last inning.
Runs inside. It's 2-1. You know, for most of the broadcasts this year, it's been, you know, we've done some joking, we've had some fun, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. This one's gone off the rails just a little bit.
What are you talking about, Trevor? I'm locked in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, Trevor. I'll take the play-by-play for one batter. It's Ryan Tackett now comes set, dangles that arm. You got runners at the corners, 1 out here, 3-1 count here to the lefty. He kicks and fires, and that one missed high and away. So a walk there. It's number 9, and that's going to bring up number 21 here for Nebraska. Bases loaded. Kansas down by 9. Trevor, you were saying?
And back to me after the 1-pitch play-by-play. Do you guys know that Tyler Barundo does play-by-play for Kansas baseball? Fun fact.
If you didn't know that, they sent me down on the rehab start as couldn't go to Salt Lake. Some tighter budget.
So they sent you to Topeka instead.
They did. Actually, I got picked up by Trevor this morning, about 10:20.
Yeah.
Showed up at 11 o'clock for a 11 o'clock game on the broadcast.
Yeah.
To be fair, Trevor, we had 2 outs when we were not doing the broadcast, so maybe if we go off air, Kansas will come back. Then again, you're missing out on some grade A entertainment, all the 2 of you listening out there.
How else would you want to spend a Sunday? Can't think of any other way.
I thought you were doing the play-by-play, Trevor. Is that
I just kind of wanted to see what happened there. Is everybody's safe? Day bobbled it over at third, and another run will score.
So am I calling the game or you? I don't even know what's going on anymore. I just watched that one go to third base and no one was saying a word.
Sorry, I was not locked in there.
That's all right, Trev.
So
I guess you know what? You're actually just not calling any more baseball games. We're actually sending you down to wiffle ball over the summer.
Shout out the AWA Wiffle Ball League that I believe I will be doing some work with this summer. Looking forward to that, actually. Like, that's going to be a really good time.
Unless they're one of the 2 viewers, then you're probably not getting the job.
So bases loaded, still only one away. In what is now a 10-run ball game, 16-6 Nebraska the score. The Cornhuskers just pouring it on here, back-to-back 4-run innings in the 6th and 7th.
The Kansas Jayhawks finale.
Popped up center field as I'm seeing a comment that there's no video. Our battery has gone and died on us, so I'll swap that around to battery number 2. That's why we're bringing 4 batteries. Thank you for pointing that out.
You have 4 batteries?
I have 4 batteries.
Wow.
You come prepared.
At least we're not doing an underwater broadcast like we did in Sterlington, Louisiana with your iPhone.
In the underwater, dude. Don't remind me of the underwater broadcast. What a time that was.
The last strikeout ever recorded from the Iron Dome was on a potato. About 3 frames per second.
On my iPhone, actually, because the camera died.
Now Trevor Butler, much more prepared this season.
Yeah, after the nightmare that was most of the stuff that happened in fall ball, I entered this spring season with an idea of what I was doing a little bit. That's hammered today. He'll step on the bag and end the inning. Nebraska plates 4, 16-6 Cornhuskers your score. We go bottom 7. Back here for the bottom of the 7th, and it's last ups for Kansas. If they can't score anything, the mercy's going to be in effect, and it's going to be. Looks like I didn't quite get the number. Yeah, that's Ben McDonald stepping in to lead things off. First pitch he sees is ripped foul for strike 1.
And Ben McDonald just a little bit late pulling the trigger there. Saw the pitch in, snapped the hands, just a little bit delayed on the fastball in the outside corner. Maybe he didn't quite commit to it, Trevor, as his eyes didn't line up with his actions.
Back to work now, trailing in the count 0-1. Just missing outside, a close pitch, but it doesn't find the zone.
An absolutely amazing take there from Ben McDonald. He saw the pitch away, and you see the nod on the head after there as he watched that go in there or outside for ball 1, like 3 inches on the up and down on the nod.
Runs
And an
way
excellent
outside.
take there from Ben McDonald. He spit on that immediately. You see the confidence exuberated from the Kansas outfielder. We recruited him randomly as my girlfriend was talking to him on the shift, saying my boyfriend is the vice president of the club baseball team. You should come play. And Benjamin McDonald earned himself a tryout. The two-way stud.
2-1 outside.
You see the prowess at the play. I mean, how nerve-wracking can it be when you see Benjamin McDonald digging in from the left side with that Voodoo 1 open stance? He was a guy that batted over 500 in the fall.
Yeah, I'd hate to be on the hill for Nebraska right now. Hitters count 3-1. takes a walk, and it's a leadoff man aboard here for Kansas in the 7th.
And just look at the poise at the plate from Ben McDonald, not moving a lick, as he is just showing off what a great eye he has. If there was some KU Club baseball stats, Ben McDonald, 99 discipline.
Time called, McDonald will come out here. Looks like Quinn Gowitz will take over as the courtesy runner for him.
And just look at the form of those high fives from Ben McDonald. Getting his curtain call, the senior. Going to graduate, do good things. Maybe come back for the Kansas baseball alumni game if we can get that going.
So Keelan Tunnel now will step in with a man on first. Looking to move him around. Nobody down. First offering. Runs low for ball 1.
5 in a row, Trevor. 5 in a row out of the zone. Look at the discipline from the Kansas offense. I remember the last time Kansas went 5 in a row. I think it was 5 home runs, but I think almost as impressive, the 5 takes on close pitches.
That's called for ball 2, and that's 6 in a row.
Where? The ball 2? Did they even throw a pitch?
It looked like it.
There was no pitch there, Trevor.
I thought I heard a pitch.
No, you just heard the catcher walk out, and now we might get time.
Catcher's going to walk back to the dugout here.
I mean, I know this guy was throwing hard, Trevor, but I didn't think it was that hard where I didn't even see it. And he's going to swap out gloves right there.
Huh.
And maybe that'll make the pitcher throw strikes. I mean, you could totally see it with the eyesight and the different colors, blending in. Maybe something triggers that moment where you can really apply and pound the zone there with the tan versus the brown-colored glove. We'll see if that works for Nebraska.
1-0 on the way. And it sure did. Tyler Bermundo, a visionary, calling that one.
Keelan Tunnel, I mean, you get number 41 in the helmet? That doesn't even match the number you have at the plate.
Called strike 2, so the glove clearly making an impact.
And that had about 12.6 inches of arm side run there. Also, a vertical break of about 15 going for the stat cast that was in my head right now. Quinn Gowitz with a lead. There he goes. And that one nearly took off the pitcher's head. Keelan Tunnel going down on strikes. Quinn Gowitz, though. Do you see the jump on that thing? I mean, that is a prime base dealer right there, showing the future of this Kansas program. Quinn Gowitz, just a freshman, but he's got projectable components across the board.
Yeah, really showing off the wheels. I got a good jump on that one. Really head first into a sprint, and Quinn's a good dude. I've chatted with him quite a few times. We've had some classes together. He's a nice fella. I'm excited to see how he progresses on this ball club throughout the next few years.
Under the new management of Charlie Marshall, who's at the dish, and there's a great pitch. And that one, 13 inches of arm side run there. We got the
podcast brought to you by Tyler Bermundo.
That is correct. The first sponsor we have on this broadcast
is Tyler Bermundo.
It is.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hasn't contributed any money, so I guess he paid his dues and then only played half the season. So
that's correct. As there's a pitch now going the other way. I had 12 inches of slide to his glove side, so it's 24 inches you have to contend with. Very tough for hitters.
Drops low, ball 1, and Marshall's going to try and find his way back into this at bat.
And Charlie Marshall, just a healthy specimen, squatting 285 for a catcher. Weighs about 166. So there goes Gowitz.
Gowitz takes off again. Throw down to third, not in time. He'll swipe a second bag, so it's been green light on for Quinn Gowitz this entire inning. And as Marshall will take the walk back to the dugout. Now with 2 down, Aiden Day will look to push a run across and keep this game going to the 8th.
And I know there's 3 viewers out there hearing the name Gowitz, and no, he is not Jewish. He celebrated Easter. He was actually part of a Easter video package on KUJH News, if you want to check out some of that stuff.
First pitch swinging is chopped foul.
And then to check on the baseball, make sure it's okay after hit Aiden Day.
112 on the exit velo there, just directly in zero.
Is that millimeters per second?
Something like that. 0-1 on the way. Is pushed out toward right field, and it'll get down. Aiden Day drives in a run, and it's 16-7 in favor of the Cornhuskers.
Fire me up, Aiden Day. Fastball inside corner. What is he doing? He lets it get deep, drop it in front of right field, and guess what, Trevor? We got more baseball now as we're only trailing by 9.
It's a brand new ball game.
It is a brand new ball game. Instead of us going home at 1:35, we're going home later.
And Day is going to slide in the second heads-up base running to catch the Nebraska defense napping. He thought about doing it again. Aiden Day kind of feeling like he was going to take off for third, all smiles out there as he thought about taking off and trying it again.
And I think if he stole third right there with no one on him, that's 10 runs for Kansas, and they're all the way back in it. But I guess we'll never know.
Pollock pushes that one foul for strike one.
You know, one thing I think we haven't talked about. Remember the Iron Dome had 2 stolen bases of home in the fall? One of them on camera?
Because one of them was against, what, Iowa State?
One was against South Dakota State. One was against K-State.
The South Dakota State series, that's outside ball one, considered lost media because I couldn't figure out any of the technology that week. I think we won 2 of 3 that weekend.
Yeah, I believe we did. Kansas Club Baseball, very good fall.
They did have a very good 9-2 in the fall. With their only losses coming to South Dakota State and LSU, as that's taken inside for strike 2.
You know, the sweep of Iowa State, shorthanded too.
Sweep of Iowa State, and then obviously sweep of K-State on a Friday-Sunday series. I actually got pulled over on my way here coming to that series. Found out you cannot cruise in the left lane as that rolls to the backstop. Day took a turn, but he holds up at third.
And number 21 on the mound there, you heard the grunt at about -6 decibels, and that's going to equate to about 0.2 miles an hour of of pitching velocity when you have that grunt. Some guys like Zach Greinke can really run it up there to -3 decibels, giving him about a mile of extra velocity.
I believe that is the tennis strategy. That's called for strike 3. Drop third strike, throw down to first in time. Kansas gets 1, and we head to the 8th. No mercy rule in effect just yet. It's 16-7 Nebraska your score. You're watching Kansas Club Baseball on the KU Club Baseball YouTube channel. So some free baseball, as you might call it. Kansas fights back to stay within the mercy, and we're here in the top of the 8th. Eduardo Gomez taking over on the hill for the Jayhawks. He's going to look to spin a shutout inning. First pitch offering is fouled back off the top of the screen.
You see the bottom of your screen. Look at the form there from the first base coach. I mean, about to throw it on the run. Can he do it? He does. Underhand flip to the umpire.
And he dropped his phone.
And one, as they call it.
He's dropping everything out there.
I mean, he looks like Kadarius Toney, and is the hands of Kadarius Toney.
Taking low ball 1.
Kansas baseball kicking off in just about 20 minutes. It's weird that they have the main card here in club baseball first, and then you have the prelims afterward. The post-lims, I guess what they call it.
Swung through strike 2. Post-lims.
It's a serious broadcast, Trevor.
Oh, certainly. That is one of the words of all time, not necessarily something I used to describe this, but we had fun. Up high ball, too.
Here, let me hop in for another pitch right here as Eduardo Gomez turns around and now towing the rubber. You got the guy batting from the left side, open stance. Infield, corners even with the bag, turns, fires. Here's the 2-2. Gets him fishing! And he said he didn't go. Goodness gracious. I thought he went around. Home plate umpire was not convinced. Getting a lot of laughs from the crowd. But, I think in Minecraft, right, if it's more... I think I was talking about serious broadcasting of Minecraft, but you're more likely to catch a fish when it's raining. You can kind of start feeling the mist down there. And Eduardo Gomez trying to catch a fish here. Here's the 2-2. Goes to the fastball. Rolled over to Owen McGovern. He goes to his left. 3-hop on the way to first. He gets him by about a step. 1 out here now in the top of the 8th inning. Trevor, back to you.
Speaking of Minecraft, have you seen the Minecraft movie yet?
I have not.
You gotta watch that. Great film. Shout out Chicken Jockey.
Now, Trevor, I have a good question for you.
Uh-oh.
What is your walkout song? If it's not Pig Pony Club by Chapel Roan.
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like that changes quite often. You'll hear a song and think this is pretty cool. As that's lined out toward right field, it's gonna sit down, it's gonna roll. Keelan Tunnel will pick it up on the run, but it's a stand-up double with 1 out. Man, that's a great question because I feel like I'll hear a song and I'll hear a part of a song and it'd be like this would really be really cool to walk out to. Man, the intro to "Tore Up" by Don Tolliver, that's got to be up there. That's a pretty awesome little 30-second excerpt to walk out to. I don't know if you've seen the new movie Sinners, but there's a song from that called "I Lied to You," and it's got a pretty sweet, like, I don't know, it's like a banjo, but they put like 808s and stuff over it, and it sounded kind of awesome. That's taken outside ball 1. Right now, I'd say one of those two. What about you?
Stadium Rave, SpongeBob
yeah.
SquarePants, 100%.
Yeah. I think we talked about this on an actual Kansas baseball broadcast. Which
I believe we did. I also went out to the mound in the fall to The Man by Aloe Black. So I was out for my 7th inning of work.
Was that during that game against Parker?
No, I believe that was the game against K-State here at Bettis.
Skips all the way to the backstop, and he'll trot on down to third, so runner moves up 90 feet. And it's a 3-0 count here. Nebraska looking to match the run that Kansas put up in the bottom of the 7th. So we're just north of 2.5 hours in this one.
And to the 7 viewers out there, what is your walk-up song?
Yeah, I put it as soon as you started talking, they went down to 5. So see why they're here for.
They're here for the voice.
They're here for Trevor Butler, the main event. The voice of Kansas Club baseball.
He is the voice. I am just a fill-in.
It's taken outside ball 4, and it's running on the court.
My boss Brian Haney told me to take any opportunity I can get, and this is certainly a opportunity.
Yeah, one of the opportunities of all time.
That is correct. I could be running ranked seasons right now, but instead I'm calling Kansas Club baseball.
Got some journalism 302 homework to knock out after this. That's going to roll to the backstop, and a run will score. Both runners move up 90 feet, and it's 17-7, a football score here in Topeka. Kansas only down 2 possessions, though. Touchdown and field goal, we're all even.
It's very true. I have nothing intelligent to say after that one, I'm going to be honest with you.
Tyler's done a group project with Devin Neal. Maybe call him up, see if he can score a touchdown for us.
We get a live call of Devin Neal on probably club baseball broadcast.
Devin Neal call-in club baseball.
Hey, there's a chance Devin Neal, a former baseball player, as he did play for Coach Price for 1 year for the Kansas baseball team.
Really?
Yeah, he did. He actually played a season. He was mostly used as a pinch runner.
I can see that. That would make sense.
And he also was a 2-sport athlete at Lawrence High.
Shout out
And who
to
knows?
Steve
Maybe he's
Martin.
one of the 5 viewers right
You
now.
never know.
It was a really slow day. I mean, he's probably calling people after the draft, or he's watching KU Club baseball.
Swung through strike one. Yeah, shout out to the Lawrence High Chesty Lions. Got Grady Johnson over to my right, the Lawrence Journal World Preps reporter, so he knows quite a bit about Lawrence High and Lawrence Free State, our resident expert on high school sports. 2-1 on the way. Is pushed foul, and the count goes even 2-2.
There's an error there by the third base coach.
Got locked
Couldn't
in
handle
a
it.
bit. Disappointing.
Needs some lotion because his hands aren't soft enough yet to make that play.
Alrighty then, back to it. 2-2. Kind of fiend at it. Runner will move to third. No throw across the diamond on the drop third strike, and there's 2 down here with a man sitting on third.
I made a comment earlier that I deeply and truly ashamed of.
So Tyler's day here on the broadcast is done. He will not be joining us anymore.
I don't know if I'm calling another game for Kansas Club Baseball on YouTube.
Baseball.
I apologize to Trevor Butler and the guy I signed my paycheck to.
The guy who buys you your food 90% of the time. Called strike one. I don't know if I'll be enjoying any more DeBruce burritos anymore after this one.
Some Union Chick-fil-A.
Called strike two, and Gomez a strike away from slamming the door and stranding a runner at third. On the corner, got him. Nebraska adds another run, and Kansas again will have to hit with their back to the wall. 17-7 Cornhuskers as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th on tap, and Kansas looking to claw their way back into it again. First pitch swinging, and first pitch looping one out to left field is Owen McGovern. He's got a leadoff single right off the bat.
You're about to rip a Matt Vasgersian first pitch swing and first pitch crushing right
I
there?
wish. It's one of my favorite calls ever, I will say. Thought you might like that. We'll call back to better days for the LA Angels.
Better days. We didn't make the playoffs that year, although
Still had Altani.
we did. There was a time where the Angels had 4 of the last 6 MVPs. and we never had more than 81 wins in a season.
That's incredible. Shout out Artie Moreno.
Actually, he was in Lawrence. Did you know he was in Lawrence
heard
last
about
year?
that.
Yes.
Well, I heard he was at the J School like a month ago.
He was. I believe his wife is a donor for KU.
I want to meet him.
I don't. Actually, I think I actually didn't meet him, but I walked by him. He's a very friendly guy.
Sure you'd have some words for him.
Thank you, buddy, for helping us out. Here's a great story for you. Right before I was hired by Eldorado Park Golf Course in Long Beach, Joe Madden, when he was on the team, managing the Angels, he played golf at the course I was at every single day before a game day.
Wow. O'Doherty goes down on strikes, and there's one away.
Pretty good curveball right there. I mean, good.
That was pretty wicked.
Good variety from the arms. You just saw 88 from the right side. Now you're seeing about 75 from the left side, including a 58-mile-an-hour curveball right there.
I believe they call it the EFIS.
Or the gravity ball, either one.
Call it strike one, Max Rosencrantz.
And just like Gowitz, Rosencrantz, not a Jewish guy. Oh, he's living with 3 Jewish guys in Proxy Lawrence.
At the Casa de Bermudo. Wow. Bermudo, what am I doing?
Well, Trev, because of that comment, you are not calling a game.
I'm getting fired from my own position.
That is correct.
Replaced in the position that I created.
Actually, who did you talk to at Rock the Wreck to help you get this position?
Dayton Wright.
I stand corrected.
Tactically.
That is fair. That's very fair.
Sure, I'm doing a meeting with Tyler and Shayton, and Tyler was wearing full Packers gear that day. He had Packers shorts on too. As Rosencrantz swings through that for strike 3, and there's 2 down here in the 8th.
Kansas baseball down to their last out of the season.
It's going to be Sean Buden stepping in, looking to prolong this thing a little bit longer. First offering. Called. Strike 1. Must have just caught the bottom of the zone.
As the Nebraska pitcher all smiles here, flipping in curveballs. Lefty-lefty matchup. Certainly brought him in for the matchups.
0-1 swung through strike 2, and Kansas down to their final strike on the year.
Trevor Butler with 177 missed messages on iMessage. Grasping at straws here in Kansas Club Baseball.
It has been quite a fun season, no matter the record. It's taken low for ball 1. I mean, thinking back to not being able to work the camera in the fall, trying to run around on day 1 at Lawrence High. I'm going to go back and forth between Best Buy. Spent probably $100 on day 1 just trying to figure things out.
I hope you got reimbursed for that, Trev.
I believe I did. Taking out sideball too. Going to Louisiana, quite a good time out there. Watching them take 2 of 3, the Tyler Bermundo day when he went yard and then shoved 7 innings of 1-run ball. And then it's been a lot of fun here in the spring as it's taken low for ball 3, and Buden has worked his way back into this at bat.
And shout out to Mason.
Yeah, Mason's done a great job.
He's also 1-0, I believe, in solo broadcasts.
He had a funny comment yesterday. He said he was flying solo while his partner was flying economy. As that's called for strike 3, and that will do it. Nebraska taking the victory 17-7, your final score. As I've said, it has been quite a fun season here. Thank you all for joining us throughout the season. On a serious note, thank you, Tyler, for coming on today. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to kind of start doing this, kind of work my career as I try and work towards doing this full-time for a living. So for everybody on our side, for everybody watching, thank you all for tuning in throughout the year. It has been a lot of fun for me. I'm sure it's been a lot of fun for Mason and Tyler, everybody else who's gotten to hop on the mic. So for the last time this year, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in.